Good evening, Pamela. Health, weight, and real talk. Good evening, ladies. I know it's not time yet. I just wanted to begin to set the atmosphere and set the tone. Good evening, Gemini. So you came to join me, Gemini? We will be getting started promptly at 9:30. I just wanted to go ahead and begin to set the atmosphere for the discussion. You're multitasking. All right, Gemini. Good evening, the most benevolent king. I'll be right back, y'all. I'll be back in a little bit. Feel free to socialize, of course. we will be just a few more minutes. Let me go through the chat room and see who do we have here. I am wonderful. Thank you, Judge Dre. Good evening. Good evening, Little Rock. Good evening, Jack Spade. Let's see here. Good evening, Miss Chantel. Good evening, Gemini. Hey, sis. Good evening, Kendra. Poetic. Kels, good evening. Let's see. How romantic. You know how I do it, Poetic Kels. Let's see. LaShan, welcome, LaShan. Good evening. You're loving the vibe already? I'm so glad you're loving the vibe already, Gemini. And Jack said, quick, let's man the door, set up the velvet ropes, and only let the fun and sexy people in. That's right. That's what I'm talking about. Yes. Turn this hangout into like an old Studio 54 and make it feel exclusive. OMG. Yes, Jack Spade. You got it. You got the vision, honey. Yes, I love it. Thank you. Oh, Shay Lennox, good evening. Good evening. Thank you for coming back. And Jack Spade said, so you left the party to start your own. Big ups to you. That's how trailblazers roll. Yeah, I already had this planned and everything, Jack. And the thing of it is that so many times we can get distracted with what other people are doing that we will, put our things off or, like I said, get distracted. And no, you've got to stay about your own business and your own purpose, no matter what's going on. So, LaShannon, hello, and what's up? And the most benevolent. Okay, awesome. So, I've spoken to everyone. Welcome, everyone, to this wonderful discussion. I am excited about this topic, and I am excited about moving the conversation forward. And I will definitely email you. So I want to lay some things out. First of all, I want it to be known that this discussion is a discussion to be helpful. This discussion is to really start a healthy dialogue and help both the men and the women, especially the women, right? Because they are the ones with this particular struggle. And so when people come by and hear it, I want them to be able to hear the message clear. So this is not about debating. It's not about trying to prove anyone wrong. It's not about trying to blame. It's not about a gender war. It's not about trying to blame, this person, that person. It is about clarity and assistance. So the things that we're going to go over. So I'm sure you have read the description. So let's go over it again. The complaints of single Black women not finding good Black men to marry are growing. They have taken what appears to be good advice from older women to focus on education, careers, and be independent. They have reacted to complaints of Black men about being gold diggers, chasing their resources, and not bringing anything to the table. But for some reason, they are still not winning in the dating/marrying game. Let's talk about it. Going to go down the road, how we're going to go through this so that we're not all over the place. We're going to talk about what the women are seeking, what do men want. We're going to talk about the degree, including the debt, being too smart, etc. We're going to talk about the career, being bossy, strong, powerhouses, breadwinners, and masculine energy. We're going to talk about ability and or willingness to submit, their attitude, and the power struggle. We're going to talk about the head of household, business partner, or helpmate, or wife, mother, nurturer versus being in competition. And we're going to discuss a solution. How, if possible, can they turn it around? Of course, I've got my tea ready to sip on. Let me send Chaos Rain. And then is there anyone else that would like to come and join the discussion in the beginning? And if so, drop your email address. There is a net in my house, and it is about to drive me mad. Go away, Nat. Go away. So, good need night off from battle of the sexes. Yes, yes. This is no. We're not battling. We're trying to come together. So let me send you the link, Chaos. And if anyone else wants to come on, drop your email address and we will get this cracking. I would love to have the music continue to play in the background to continue to keep, to keep the conversation light, um, and fresh, and relaxing, kind of like if we were in the lounge. So, okay, let me get you Jack Spade. I say I, says Jack. I says I. And the music being featured is once again, it is Dr. Sax Love. And I hope everyone had a good week and a good day at work. Please type in the chat room how you're doing this evening. Holly at your girl. Oh, and I did not introduce myself. Of course, this is your girl, Rain and Woman. Welcome to all of my new supporters. I want to thank you all. And again, thank you all for being here this evening for this healthy discussion. I just sent an email to Chaos Rain and to Jack Spade. Welcome back, Mind's Eye. You can take a minute to think about it, LaShannon. That is perfectly fine. So, what inspired this conversation tonight, this topic tonight, good evening, Deacons of Defense, was over on Obsidian's channel earlier this morning in the afternoon. Some young ladies were on the panel and they were talking about, one of the ladies was talking about how some of her friends are complaining about having degrees and, they don't have any children. They've pretty much kept themselves, kind of on the straight and narrow for the most part. And, but they're having a hard time now settling down and finding a man. And so I wanted to talk about some of the things that I have noticed in these kind of women and what we can do to help things shift. Because I definitely want to see families, and I especially want to see Black families, right? And in order for us to have families, it's individuals being a whole coming together. So we've got to learn how to work out these kinks and work out these kinks without bashing and to work out these kinks without destructive, reckless language and without listening, with listening. So here we go. So the first thing that we're going to talk about is we're going to talk about what is she seeking. We know for one, since I only have men right now that are going to be coming on the panel, we know for one that what she is seeking a partner. You know, she's seeking a companion, right? And we know that she is seeking more than likely. She's seeking someone to assist her in some financial gains. She's seeking someone, you know, to aid in the success. And she's seeking someone to build a nest with. What do men want? And if you know, and in the chat room, please, you know, chime in on the conversation in the chat room. What do you all say that these women are seeking? I said what I believe they're seeking on my end. What do you all think that they're seeking? And I may need to go ahead and delete some of these email addresses. Oh, and by the way, Judge Gray, thank you for asking. I am doing marvelous, marvelous, simply marvelous. If I get any better today, I might turn a backflip over the moon. Ooh, wait a minute. Jack Spade said I'm messing, but if a person rolls up without a tie, jacket, and dress shoes, I'm gonna tax them for an extra $10. That's right, I'm telling you. Yes, y'all, we are definitely in the place to be. Sensual healing. Poetic chaos, you know how I do. Marvelous. You love it? Absolutely. Thank you. So you all don't have any opinion on what it is that these women are seeking? People no longer seek love. It is a financial merger between folks these days. Pity. Yeah, that's definitely a part of it. Let's come. I'll see. Can I get it to work? Okay. Let me grab your email address here, Shan. Actually, what I might do with yours is I might send yours directly from the Hangout. And Jack Spade and Chaos Rain, check your emails because you should have your links. And if you're new to my chat room, I want you to know that in this chat room over here, I don't allow any disrespect towards each other. This whole channel and the panel, the chat room, we're all about respecting each other and each other's opinions. So even if we disagree with someone, we disagree in a healthy way. We don't do it by attacking. We don't do it by calling names, name calling, or any of those things. And no, we don't. This is all about good vibes. And who do I have here?
This is LaShawn.
Wow, LaShawn, you put everybody else up here. Good evening, LaShawn. Welcome, welcome to the panel. How are you this evening?
Not doing too bad. Not doing bad. Trying to find a comfortable spot on my bed that my dogs ain't take over.
So your dog can take over?
Yeah.
It has been a lot of talk about pets this week between the Grinch and who else was it? George Frazier? No, no.
Oh, I saw
Actually,
that. I saw that live. That
yeah,
was
there's
funny.
been a lot of talk about pets lately.
How you gonna tell me I ain't got a pretty dog? That's the prettiest dog ever.
Look, I was down there like, oh, bitch, bad.
And I'm sitting there like, I said, dang Grinch, I understand yours. I got one with the bloodline, and I got one just as cute looking as hers. So I mean, they pretty dogs. I'm a dog cat person, pretty much pets.
You know what? I'm an animal lover myself, so it's always nice to hear other animal lovers. So tell me, before the other parents get on, or while we wait for them, what are your thoughts, your initial thoughts on the topic tonight? And do you feel like it's a much needed discussion?
Yeah, it is a much needed discussion because here's the problem. You could be as educated and have every degree you ever wanted, but you can still be dumb enough not to look both ways when you cross the street.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a time when no matter how smart you is, you still got to look across the street both ways before you cross it. And by the time most people realize, because everybody says, "Oh, well, I make X amount or this or this or this," you get it on both sides. Men with what the standards men have to have, and then what the women have to have. But the problem is that women don't answer to the standards of what men want. Men have to answer to the standards of what women want.
Mm-hmm.
And then you add a degree, money, and in their own head, somewhere along the line, that equals power.
Right.
But, only reason that is because, most of us were descended from slaves and we weren't even allowed to read a book, even know what a letter looked like. So, education is a carnal big thing from us. As soon as we were free to, even though, a lot of us didn't know how to read, as soon as we were able to, I bet you there's a whole bunch of black folk with a book in the hand, even if they didn't know what the first word was, because that's what's been instilled in every generation. Every generation, get your education. You're
Right.
not dumb. And, the thing is that both black men and women both went through struggles, but they broke it down in different ways. You can't break a black man down like you break a black woman down. So two different ways of destroying your mindset so both mindsets don't come together now. So you got this, he got to have education. He's got to make more than me. He's got to do this. Well, the thing is that sooner or later, if you saying, well, he ain't smart enough, he ain't rich enough, he don't have what I need, you still going to end up being one of those women wondering where your time went.
Right.
Or you're going to be one of those women that in your allude to saying you're so smart, you're so in control, you got this and this, you end up still dealing with at the end somebody you wouldn't have in your life on a, I don't know, a 6 months basis in a relationship, being,
Mm-hmm.
the man that is the reason why you have children. And it goes both ways. And the only thing is that women put such an emphasis on education, money, status, and everything else. But shoot, you got a nice butt, a good smile, and a sweet personality. Do you hear? Do you hear degree in any of that? Hmm?
No, you don't.
And that's the problem. Are you really doing all this for to get a man, or are you doing all this so you can rub it in the woman next to you's face?
Mm. Now you know what? Now, wow, to rub it in the next woman's face. Now, see,
Yeah,
I didn't even. That's something I didn't even consider.
because really, you know what a man wants. Shoot, you know how many ugly women? Only reason they get hollered at because the man don't really care how big their face is. And you think in the college education, you got this high powered job, and yet you forget the basis of why a man wants to hump you.
Huh.
And so you can say, well, I'm college educated. I got this, I got that. Yes. So what?
Have you ever been in a position yourself where you were interested in a female and you had the attraction and everything was there for you? But when it came down to the conversation of what she brought to the table, and she brought up her education and her degrees, and that you became disinterested in how she talked about it, or or feeling like you were maybe not smart enough to her.
No.
Okay.
And I'll tell you one simple reason why. She was always moving into my house. You know, I mean, you can have a degree, but if you ain't got nothing, I mean, you can have a degree and be in debt up to your butt.
Right.
Now, I mean, I went to college, but I was paying out my own pocket. So I was working while I was doing it. And then I
Hmm.
lost my job along the way. I don't have the degree doesn't mean I don't have somewhat of a college education.
Right.
And then here's another problem with that is that if you got all everything you need to say you're a competent, smart, intelligent black person, because what you really don't want to be is considered a Negro, especially a
Mm.
dumb Negro.
Right.
Nobody wants to be a dumb Negro.
Nobody wants to be a dummy.
And the problem with being that is that you can say, well, I got this, I got this, I got this, I got this. Then why are you moving into my house? Why do I have to still have all this if you got all that, but I still have to provide all that and plus anywhere where you fall short? But I'm dumb because I didn't get my education. I'm dumb because we're paying off your debt and we're not paying off mine.
Hmm.
We're, my house ain't the best, but you know what? Hey, we can, I know how to redo the floors if you don't like carpet,
Hmm.
but
Right.
you know, the but on, only thing you doing is picking out the floor coloring, whether you want wood, stone, or whichever way you like it, and then you complaining because you know what? I had to go. You know what? Let me step down. You got another option a little bit below it. Well, I want this. Well, you ain't paying nothing, and and it's that kind of thing. Just because you got a college degree
Hmm.
doesn't give you a kingdom.
Mm.
You see, because you got to remember, before black folk went to college, they still had land, they still had home, still had real good families, they had connections. Now, with all these black people, all this education, and all these degrees and everything else, do we have that now?
No, we most of us don't have half of that.
hmm But you're too damn smart because that degree. But yet, you that smart, but yet, when at the core basis of it, if Jerry Springer could find all these dumb people to keep showing up on his show,
Right.
and they can find love, did I don't know, did you forget? Basically, you're still a human being. He's a human being, and what you really want is a decent human being to spend the rest of your life with.
Right.
Not the moment you want to live your life. You know, I mean, it's kind of backwards. I mean, what? Why can't you find decent people, build up a group of decent people?
Hmm.
Because when you really think about it, I know countless men and women got college degree can't find a best friend to call.
Can't even find a best friend to call.
Hmm. Their
Who?
family members won't even deal with them because you want to know why?
Why?
Oh, they don't went to college. They think they educated, talking down to us because
Oh
we ain't
my
get our degree.
gosh. Do that impression again. Do that impersonation again.
Sitting there talking about me, looking down at me because they got went to college and stuff. Talking about you ain't got your college degree. Heifer, we helped put you through college. Yo, trifling ass. Who you think you is? I'll hit you with this Bible. Oh, trifling. Jesus save me. Ooh, Lord. And
Wow.
that's you see, but how many times have you been growing up had that discussion because you were in the room and the grown folk can't tell you get out before they said it?
Quite a bit.
Yeah. If you see how that degree makes you, and I'm gonna say it, and it because my grandpa said it to me. He said, "I ain't never seen a black person get a college degree and then all of a sudden you the field Negro." And you see how quick that can happen.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
that
From
same
your
person
mother.
you calling field Negro is the same person you calling same person when you short, same person when you did, but when you back on top, you go right back to the same person you were before they asked for help.
That's right.
And that's the problem. And and see the thing is that it's fine in a way if you're selfish, but you can't be mad because you're so selfish. You don't want nobody to be happy, including yourself.
And do you think the selfishness is? I'm gonna ask you a question, but then I'm gonna get Jack Spade to speak, and then you
No
can come back
problem.
and answer. So, do you think that the selfishness also gets in the way of them finding someone to partner with? And last, because one thing I do know is this, is black women do not have a problem getting somebody in the bed with them, educated or not, right? So
Yeah, because yeah,
that's
you
not
right.
it.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't really have a problem with getting people interested, right? But
True.
like you said, it is going beyond a 6 month period. It's a lot of it is like jumping too fast and coming up with this list, and then we're going to pick up from there after Jack Spade speaks. Welcome, Jack.
Good evening. Good evening. Am I too loud?
No, in fact, I can barely hear you. What about you, LaShawn?
Yeah, you coming in a little low, sir.
Okay, I was doing something else. I had turned my volume down. Is this too loud?
Nope. I
All
hear you
right.
clear.
How's everyone doing this evening?
I am
Pretty good.
marvelous. How are you?
It's Friday, but I got to work tomorrow, so it's just another night.
Well,
Uh,
I won't keep you up too late. How about that?
Man, there's times I don't go to sleep till like 5 a.m. and I got to be at work at 9.
I won't do it to you, Jack. I won't do it to you. I'll do a lot of things, but I won't do that.
But I was going to throw one part in before I got on to the topic about Studio 54. So I had a chance to go to Studio 54, but I went after the heyday. So I think they closed their doors 79 or 80,
Mhm.
something like that. And then they reopened their doors, I think 81. So I end up going like 83, 84 in that ballpark range. So they still had the velvet rope out, but it wasn't like the heydays back in the 70s. I was too young to enjoy that.
Oh, but at least you got a chance to have some experience with it.
Yeah, I can say I've been inside Studio 54. That's one of my few bragging rights.
Well, I'm glad you got a chance to do that, and I'm going to celebrate. that accomplishment, okay? It may not be as too grand to other people, but you accomplished something that you wanted, you enjoyed it, and I'm there in that moment with you.
Thank you, thank you. All right, now let me get back on topic because I'm
Okay.
good for jumping off topic. So I have my fair share of degrees, the fancy one. They sound nice, but I do not recall ever in any of my studies learning financial responsibility,
Mm-hmm.
parenting, um, how to navigate a marriage, all
Mm-hmm.
the stuff that you and how to converse with people and how to interact with people in a casual manner.
Right.
uh that's something that was never taught in school, and I don't think there's any class, any degree program that teaches that. And so when women, well, I
Hmm.
say when people say I got a degree and I'm this and I feel I'm this status, that's the many things I remind them of. um it doesn't teach those important things. It teaches you uh, maybe how to do your job up to a certain extent. It may prepare you for your certification exams that you have to take to be able to, get your job. But the stuff outside of corporate America, outside your job, it doesn't teach you that, and that stuff is far more important in the long run than it is the degree study.
So, how do we learn that? Is that the responsibility of our family, our parents, or do you think that some of that should be trained and taught in school?
I think it's mostly a mixture of family and just personal observation. I mean, uh, how many of us don't realize that there's a ton of people in debt? I mean, I think a lot of us know and understand how a lot of our, parents, grandparents, uncles, our peers have gotten themselves into financial predicaments, and we
Right.
just have to be honest that a lot of times we're going to have to just live below our means and do well. I mean, do you need to have the BMW? Or do you need reliable transportation? Not saying that you ride around the hoopty. Hey, there's sometimes you got to push that hoopty.
Right.
But do you really need that BMW? Do you need the Mercedes? Do you need the 2,400 square foot home? And a lot of us, we just have to be honest that them days are over with,
Mhm.
and we have to try to live comfortably with beneath our means.
Jack and man, Rena woman, man. Jack, one quick second to add to your point, real quick.
Yes,
Yes.
sir.
Um, you are dead on, but the one thing that we all keep forgetting, we don't ever want to live below our means again. That's a psychosis of it. That's why everybody's sitting there trying to get that Beamer. That's why everybody wants that big house. That's why everybody wants
Ah,
something. Because you know what? I ain't gonna ever live below again.
I'm
And
not
that's
going to
what we're
ever
doing.
poor again.
And that's what our thing is. So you know what it is. So we don't have to have nightmares no more. We trying to sit there and fill our heads up and our lives up with dreams. And you see, that's how we get in trouble because that Beamer costs money. But yeah, you know what? The car dealership said, yeah, we'll finance you. But dang, it's at 29.7%. But you got your Beamer. You
Right.
see,
Right.
but you don't want to have that nightmare where you used to ride the bus every day. And so that's how we sit there and see with items and things. It's like you're the world heavyweight championship belt around your race. You wanna know why? Because
Why?
you're the world heavyweight champion. But you gotta get punched in the face to be that. But everybody else is just sitting there buying these trinkets and everything else, and they saying they're the champion of the world, but they ain't got punched in the face. And when they do get punched in the face, they can't. They don't got anybody there to do anything with, or the person that is with was living dreams through them. And so that's where black folk get it because we our whole history is what we ain't and what we ain't got. And
Some
even though
of it.
and the thing is, we just don't want to be slave no more. No matter what, you ain't going. I'm not even gonna let myself be a low class slave, even though the life I'm living may be less than what a slave would have lived back in the slavery days. But you're dead on it, Jack. You are dead on it.
So, with me having a degree, okay. So some of the people know my age. I'm 54. I'm an old timer. I'm an OG.
No
About to
one
be
called you
44.
old. No one said anything about. No one called anyone old.
About to be
I
44
say
in May.
I say it jokingly, but yeah, the people in my age range, man, we've got our degrees. We've we've been in and out of our careers. Some of us, including myself, we don't even do the job that we went to school for. And that happened like 20, 30 years ago. So, my argument with a lot of the degreed males and females is your degree does one thing, and that's help try to bring in a income. But when it comes down to love, life,
Mm-hmm.
marriage, child rearing, that's something that you're going to have to learn, through trial and error, and trying to learn from other people's mistakes, and trying to be honest with what your strengths and weaknesses are, and what are you good at, what you're not good at, and being honest with it. The degrees have nothing to do with it, because
Yeah,
I she's not in the panel, so I'm gonna talk about it. I'm not gonna name names, but I have an associate. We've known each other now. Oh, I'm gonna say 13 years. She is 48. Beautiful woman. Oh my God. If it wasn't for a couple of things about her, man, I would have swept her off her feet 13 some years ago. But she has an MBA. She has her degree. She's quote unquote educated, but no man wants her because she is a liability.
Because of the debt.
Oh, we'll just say she's a liability.
Oh, oh, okay. Enough
I,
said.
yeah, I think I get what he's saying. Uh, Pretty much, she's the troll underneath the bridge. She has a toll. She won't allow you truly to be a part of anything, and there's a whole mess of other stuff that just isn't comparable. She's pretty on
Mhm.
the outside, but she's really a troll on the inside.
Yes.
Yeah, I've boy, 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 memories.
So, are we are we going to school to get the good job just so that we can get the beamer, get the house, and it's not even really about what we bring to the table, or it's not really about getting financially ahead or being assistants to each other? Is it really about the material things?
It's
Ye-
about not being a dumb Negro. As simple as that. It's
Right.
that's it. Every argument you have with everybody, anybody implies somebody's stupid. Anybody implies that's the most moronic thing I ever heard a human being say. All of a sudden, it's a challenge of manhood,
Right.
womanhood, and I got this. The first thing to do, like I can't remember who's. I think it might have been Grant. You done sit there and Rolodex every damn accomplishment, degree, and this and this and this and this, all because you don't want to be a dumb Negro. You can't have anybody talk to you like you're a dumb Negro. And if you think someone said it, oh, I'm gonna correct you right now. And
That's facts.
that's been our problem. And see, everybody say I'm educated, but in truth, when you just simply say it that way, that's what it is. And you know what? That ain't the smartest way you can say it. But if you keep coming up with excuses, you pretty much sound dumb because basically that's what it is.
Mhm.
Sometimes you can't outsmart simple,
Right.
and it's all right to be simple. It don't mean you're simple minded. It just means you're taking things simple. You ain't making it complicated.
Here's another question, right?
oh, I
Um,
was going to answer that one.
okay, go ahead.
Yeah, we go into college, with a youthful spirit, and we don't know. So a lot of us go in there thinking we're going to graduate, we're going to make big money, which is fine. If that's what you need to propel you through college to get to the end, that's fine. But you start getting the wake up calls, and at in your mid to late 30s and into your 40s, you shouldn't still have the same mindset that you did once you graduated from college. You shouldn't. So you start getting a wake up call. You wake up one day and realize that your butt is in debt, and that's the wake up call that be like, all right, I I had my fun. Now it's time for me to get my act together. Or if you're married, we need to get our act together and start
You're fading out.
start realizing that we can't live this.
No, I'm saying that you were
Go ahead,
fading
go ahead.
out. You were borking and fading out.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So when a man is already in a position where he is balancing his own finances, and I'm going to ask this about different levels of guys. So if a man is already in a situation where he is managing his own finances, but he's stable, but he's not secure in that he has 6 months available. He might be living paycheck to paycheck and might have a 401k, might have some savings, but he's still paycheck to paycheck. Yet he's willing to be a provider, or he's willing to be in a relationship. He's willing to get married, right? When in that situation, you meet someone, a lovely lady, like you said before, and she's beautiful, she's attractive, she's gone to school, she's got her degrees, and she has the debt. Do you decide to take on her debt first, to help pay hers off, or would you have her to be responsible for paying that off even after you get married?
For me, it depends on the person because I listened to what's his name, Ramsey. I forgot his first name. There's a
Jack Ramsey.
financial guy that's on the
Yeah,
radio.
that's James
Dave
Ramsey.
Ramsey. Dave Ramsey. I've listened to Clark Howard and those people. And a young couple can get together. Hopefully, it's not astronomical. You're not sitting on $400,000 of debt, not something like that. But
Right.
you step into the marriage with a little bit of debt, from college and stuff like that, and the two of you can work together as long as you stay on a realistic plan, and y'all can knock it down. But both parties have to be and stay on the same sheet of music. You can't be saying I'm all for it in January, and then by April, you're talking about doing something totally different.
Hmm.
So it can be done, and so there's an advantage, a disadvantage of getting married younger as opposed to getting older. When you're younger, you don't have as much. You're not carrying as many emotional baggage, but you're
Yeah,
also stepping in immature. When
Right.
you're
that's
older,
true.
you should be stepping in with a little bit more maturity. But both genders, males and females, you're walking into a relationship with emotional baggage. How and my biggest thing with that is, are you in control of the baggage, or do you let the baggage? Are you letting the baggage control you?
Hmm. That's a good question.
Well, and I'm gonna answer it this way because see, this is actually good that you got me and Jack on because see, Jack is pretty much the educated black man that women say they looking for. I'm the blue collar brother, and so you got a dynamic for at least two of the five levels or 12 with all these new titles and everything else. Now, I grew up with you a good man or you a piece of crap man. Basically, is those two things. But here's the thing: I've dated women with degrees, making more money than me, everything else. But the one thing they never tell me is, are they in debt?
They never tell you?
Nah, they got it. Because you see, like I said, everybody has something to show. Oh, look at this. I got this Beamer. Look at my house. Look at this. And it's just, no one really assumes everybody assumes, oh, you might be in debt, but no one's assumed that you deep in debt. We've got a female politician right now that was $250,000 in debt, and she was asking the state she wanted to run for, and possibly might be a possible candidate on somebody's vice president card. And the thing is, she's deeply in debt, and no one has a problem with it. $250,000 just personal school and all the other good stuff is just it all combines, and she probably did some running out her own pocket and everything else, and you got a whole bunch of excuses you can add to it. But see, I can't even be $1,000 behind in a bill. You see the great difference in that. It's
Right.
fine if she comes with all this, but I can't even be 5 cents short. And the thing is that that's the problem when you sit there and say it's acceptable for you to come this way, and then I'm supposed to take on all that, but you wouldn't even be willing to give me $5 so I can buy lunch for the day. And you did ask me another question, and I can't remember what that is, and hopefully I can bounce back off it because I would like to hear Jack's opinion on that question too. But that's the thing is you don't want to look bad. And see, men haven't got out the role that we supposed to take care of everything. Once you get a man, everything's fine. Once a man gets a woman, that could be start of his problems.
Mm.
And it could be for a woman too, but then usually that woman's trying to be a man, and then like they say, or a woman be saying, "Oh, he trifling. Only thing he doing is sleep on my couch." Well, then you're doing what a man would do for a trifling woman just because she's fine, and that's all she has to do is just be fine. So why is your trifling man on the couch, and I'm complaining about my trifling woman on the couch? But you see, and that's the thing about being so highly educated, you start changing your own rules, but you don't follow none of the rules that you should follow in the first place. And
Hmm.
then now you're asking us these questions is, where are they? And that's some of the issues I have with my homegirls that is asking me this, why can't I find a man? I say, well, your friends on a lot of them. They the guys you call when your plumbing's blocked or you hear a noise in the attic or something like that. But you know, oh, I got time in the world. He's gonna be right there for me. Yeah, men get lonely, and it's real easy to, get our attention with something pretty, and it don't have to be shiny at all.
Right.
It's just gotta be pretty. And I don't see how you so smart, you forget the basic everyday knowledge of a straight man. And if you forgot that, then you're dealing with gay men too much.
Wow. So,
Even gay men is still wanting that booty. It ain't a woman's booty, but straight or gay, we still chasing that booty. And you forgetting because you're too educated to remember, oh yeah, big butt and a nice smile. The nice smile means you so good on inside when you smile, everything's nice around you. It don't mean you got all your teeth in your mouth or veneers. I mean, have you realized you done made yourself so damn smart you forgot the basic things,
Yeah,
and that's where the problem is.
that's where the problem is. Because the basic things are go down. You describe what are the basic things in your opinion, Shan.
All right, if you walking down the street, how many times have men hollered at you and they weren't in front of you?
How it'd be easy to say how many times not.
Yeah. How many times has a man ever asked you, how high did you get in your educational endeavors?
Well, that's usually after.
You bring it up.
Yeah, I think about it. Yeah, that's usually after I bring it up. Or if they do, or if they do ask, they ask because of the kind of conversation, because of the way that I speak, not because they're really interested in how much I know, but the way that I speak declares that that I have some sort of education.
True. How many men ask you how much money you make? And when they do, aren't those usually guys expecting you to take care of their butt?
Yeah, and I don't meet those kind of
Yeah,
men.
but you hear a lot of them because, the boyfriend, watching the kids and all this other, know, you probably working with professionals now that, why are you dealing with that trifling dude right there, girl? You can do better. Each one of these women and on the panels, and I mean, and the thing is that that's the problem. Y'all forgetting. You see how simple my questions are.
Yes.
You see how we're talking, and there isn't an issue. We're not we're not even sitting there trying to say, "Ooh, he's sexy, she fine." We ain't even doing that. And see,
Right.
That's a basic thing. That's what men want. We want to have a conversation where it isn't about how far you can pee, because I'm a pee farther.
Oh, nice analogy.
Because you aiming down, you always going to pee on your feet. Either which way, because I always have a way out.
Uh-huh.
Because you always gonna give yourself a reason to why I don't qualify. And then as soon as you say I ain't man enough, then I'm gonna say, well, you know what? I am a man, and I know how I need to be respected as one. And instead of disrespecting you as a woman, I'm just gonna leave you alone. And then you just don't hear from them no more. You wonder what happened. But you know what? At that moment, you knew what you were talking about. You were smart enough, and I'm gonna tell you because I got. Well, why you asking for when you had, you didn't value it, and now it's gone? And I mean, I'm a disqualifier because I don't have the education, But my problem is all these women with all this money they make and all this education is always sitting there depending on me, and then they get mad because you can't. I mean, what is there to shame? I'm proud of what I got. I'm taking care of family members that
Right.
need help and everything else. I'm still a decent human being.
Right.
I'm not going around there sitting there calling somebody dusty beta male coon, a pick me girl. And if you were pick me girl, guess what? The man picked you. That's what a pick me is.
Right.
And a man is asking you to pick me when he asks you out.
Mm,
You,
right.
you, you see how easy you take something the wrong way because you thinking someone's saying something because you don't you know what? You're ashamed of yourself. That's why you think that someone already knows about you. That's why you're so quick to defend yourself.
Let me ask you this. Well, let's let Jack take this on, and we'll come
Yeah,
back to you.
no
And so,
problem.
the question I asked you previously was: is selfishness one of the reasons why we're not getting together? And because of the degree.
For me, my thing is just because the way society is set up now, we don't you don't need to be married to survive. Most of us, we make decent enough money to keep the rent paid, keep a roof over our head, or we can get roommates. You can pay your transportation, you can buy your food. A lot of us can fix our own food, even if it's just good enough just to survive. And the only thing we really need each other for is sex and and spend some good time with. We really don't need each other to survive. Um, and I think that's what is making creating such a distance between us. Now, if it was a situation where in order for us to live or die, you had to have that other person, yeah, then there'll be a change real quick.
Mm. But now, Jack, even though we may not need each other to survive, don't we thrive more when we have someone? But you're okay. So you and I, well, we're all um, of a mature age. Okay, everybody's
Correct.
one of us. So we have a lot of old school ideals. But is it that don't we still thrive more when we have someone to, as they would say, walk down the middle of the road with us?
I say yes, but we are humans and we don't recognize what we ain't got until it's taken away from us. Well, we don't recognize what we have until it's taken away from us. We always have an excuse why we can press the line on everything. So that's why I was saying, once you sit back and you think about it, do we really need each other to survive? And the answer is no, because I just named off all the things that we are capable of doing. And as I said, it's not until we're in a situation where it's either a live or die situation. You either have that person and you live, or you don't have that other person, you will die. That's when we get that wake up call. Then realize, oh yeah, we do need another half. It's just human nature.
Well, as a point of saying selfish, um, and to a degree, every human's selfish, and that because if you ain't, you're not trying to survive. But the thing is, this isn't kind of a thing to where it becomes to where you all of a sudden you accomplish one thing, and that one thing is a disqualifier for everybody else. And just because you got this one thing, that makes you so much better. And then you wonder why you ain't got nobody around that you can count on. But you don't see it as because no one's good enough to be around me.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you do get somebody in your life, let me ask you something. Why is it every man knows what he needs to do to be a good man and a decent man for his woman, but I've never heard one time a woman tell her daughter, her sister, her best friend, any damn list of what a woman needs to do to be a good woman or a decent woman for her man. And so when you say, well, I got this degree and everything, yeah, but you keep asking, only person you making happy is yourself. That's why you have no one because you're selfish. because you can't have no one if you don't make them happy. Because I don't want to be around anybody to just all the damn time, just you ain't this and you ain't that and da da da, and then don't do nothing for me. But I've got to meet this long, long stack of a list.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, you know what? I'm trying to meet them. But sooner or later, I'm going to get tired. And that girl that been trying for the longest time to get my attention, but I don't notice it because, I was looking to level up per se because, oh, this type of woman, you need to level up. But the problem is when you meet that type of person, they just leveled up to more problems and they're really not a better person. They might be in a better living situation.
Right.
But the thing is you can't sit there and do all this stuff for you and then ask why you ain't got nobody because you don't do anything for anybody else. You just do it
Right.
for you.
Man, that's
And that's
right.
the selfishness of it.
And that's the selfishness of it. So that you asked a question that I think is I want to answer, and that is, you said why aren't you meeting women that were told by their mothers what to do, how what to become the woman that they need
No,
for.
I'm no, it's simply you tell your son, you tell your brother, you even tell your dad after divorce what he need to be to make this woman happy and this and this and this and this and this and this. I don't ever hear a woman sitting there so no woman. I really don't think y'all have a hand list because even a boy who ain't got his father
Hmm.
or any man around, there's enough TV and everything else where he can sit there and qualify how to be a man and be kind of close to what he should do. But he might not have the knowledge of what a man would sit there and like give it to him and it'll boom boom boom. But sooner or later, a guy's gonna get a good role of how to be a decent man. But there isn't anything I've seen on paper, heard in word, a woman telling another woman, this is what you need to do to find a decent man, keep a decent man, and maybe be old like them old black folk arguing tell you, shut up, because they've been together for 50 plus years. There is no list for that. But there's a list for me. And there's that saying, happy wife, happy life. Like them old black folk arguing tell you, shut up. Mm. Oh, I got a little feedback on my end. But why is you never hear happy husband, happy life?
Well, I have heard that. I've had those kind of conversations growing up. Now, granted, they were not with everybody, and they were limited. Gemini in the chat room says that she says that's not true. Women I know talk about those things. I talk about those things with other young ladies too. And what I'm finding is with me having the conversation with these younger ladies is that no one in their family was having a conversation with them. And for some reason, for some reason the modern woman has dropped the ball in thinking kind of like if we drop bread watching us, like dropping breadcrumbs will teach you versus having conversations along with actions to be the guide. And then how do you females are more followers, I believe, than what men are. Would you all agree?
Yes, but I also think the women, like the grandmothers and the aunts and the mothers, they try to live vicariously through the young women.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times those women are like me, 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 I. Well, I didn't have a chance to do this. I didn't have a chance to do that. If I would not have met your father when I was 21, maybe my life would have been better if I would not have done this, if I would have did this a little differently. So instead of talking about a lot of the important things about the important things to the younger women, they're
Mhm.
trying to tell them, well, you need to do this, you need to do this, so you can have a better life than what I had. But really, it's like it gets convoluted if you sit down and try to think about it. If you do better than me, and because I'm trying to live vicariously through you, then I can feel that I'm a part of that it that you was able to achieve that I wasn't able to achieve.
Ooh.
Isn't that kind of a weird? Well, in my opinion, that's kind of a weird focus because you shouldn't want to live vicariously through someone else in a lifestyle that's not really conducive to family.
That is an unknown human fact there, because every parent lives vicariously through their child. That's why when the son makes the NFL, NBA, or Major League Baseball, they live in vicariously. It's in hopes that some part of you, the half that makes that child, that's you, if they succeed, half of you was a success. The other
Right.
half just slows you down. It's going to be kind of hard for parents not to live through their child, because you have all their hopes and dreams, and you're going to live, hopefully, their hopes and dreams past their lifetime. So it's kind of hard to say, say it like that. But I get the point of it, but in all actuality, it's impossible for us not to.
I mean, I can agree with that, but I started seeing that with the mothers that where their daughters are 16, 17, 18, their very early 20s, and a lot of things that I felt that are we talking about women who are associates of mine. So when I say associates, they're not friends, they're just people I'm cool with. Associates, a couple of women that I can say they are friends, women I've dated, and just listening to them, t- I guess teach their daughters or lecture their daughters about what they need to be doing next. Even though I have a general idea how those mothers' lives were in the past, there's a lot of things that I just felt that the mothers should address that they didn't address because they've got these blinders on and they're hoping that their daughter somehow magically don't make the same mistakes they've made so they can sit back and say, well, my daughter is an attorney, my daughter is this, my daughter is that. But you're not focusing on what's more important, and that is developing her interpersonal relationship skills and
Right.
marital skills, and motherly skills. You're more focused on your daughter becoming that materialistic it that maybe the mother didn't achieve. And a lot of times, maybe the mother didn't need to achieve that it, or maybe there's a lot of things that the mother didn't do before she met the father or met the fathers that prevented them from getting the next step. It wasn't so much the father stopped them. It was all of these little small ill decisions that we all make that stopped them from getting to this materialistic it that they wanted to reach.
But in a
Man,
way, they're repeating it though, because I'm hearing mothers, well, my daughter's, attorney and everything else, and I'm in 44, so I was right there at the cusp of, you know, it when you start having teenagers show up at school, and they actually finished out the year, then had the baby. Time when 14, 15, and in the short decades I've been on the face of the planet, I'm sitting here looking at women that's maybe a year two older than me,
hmm,
and every now and then I go out. I don't be going to the clubs because I can't dance to half that music now. But you go to the adult bars, and And I'm sitting there looking. I've got grandmother, mother, and daughter. All of them having a girls' night out.
Mm,
And the thing is that I I am sitting here, and all these women got are educated, and that girl's gonna go to college too. Whether she have a baby or not, grandma, mama gonna got you. You gonna finish. You gonna you. But you see, I, and the thing is that the mother can teach you all that, but at the end of the day, you don't have that good person you can count on for every day you breathe. But that's what you're really asking for. But you're waiting so late to get it.
right.
You- I mean, that's the problem. Even me with my little bit of college education, I'll be 70, and with my looking at the old men in my family, I could still pull somebody. And my education or nothing still won't matter because I have what the woman basically needs: a roof over her head, someplace safe, no drama, no crap, no female showing up saying, "He owed me a check. He owed." You ain't got none of that extra drama. But you know, you could be as educated as you want to, but you bring in drama that you know even to the dumbest person, no one wants drama.
Right.
And and the thing is, it might not, you might not even have a man or anything else. It just could be your own personal drama that's slowing you down. That's for anybody, but if education is something you hold so high,
Well,
I
man,
mean, that's what it is. You held one thing higher than the other. You sacrifice one thing to attain another because it was either or. And that's why I hear these educated black women basically say it's either or
but
because
that,
you is something with one and you ain't one without it.
But there's this one thing I do, and I do it jokingly. I like to just pull people's strings from time to time. So people will ask, and it's mostly women, um, is there anything in your life you would change? And I says no. I said I'll leave it the way it's been. I said because maybe 10 years ago, and this is why I throw the little string in there. I said, maybe 10, 15, 20 years ago, I could have gotten this prestigious job in LA, basking in the sun, life is good. And on my way to work, I get involved in a 4-car accident and die. So I said, no, I don't want it. I don't want to change anything in my life because one of those little changes can end up putting you in a predicament that's totally different than what your life is going to now. Don't always think that a change is going to make your life better because it could put you in a worse predicament.
That is fact.
so then when you say that, right, that is to say that there is a benefit to a woman having a degree, especially a modern woman having a degree and a career. So my question now becomes, does it have to be either or? Because we've already done the either or.
But see, that's the problem. You've already made it an either or. You forget one thing. Look at your hand. How many fingers you got?
Well, blessedly, I have 10.
No, I said just one hand. How many fingers you got?
Oh, 5.
If your man ain't one of them 5 reasons,
Say what?
is your man one of those 5 reasons?
No.
There's your problem.
I mean, he could be.
See, because when a boy grows up, he includes having a good mate in his life. That's
Yes.
part of his dream path. A woman wants to have an education, be about it, get this, get that, girl, I am pimping mindset. because you know what? Somebody's gonna come save me because I'm a woman, and shoot, a man always gonna come after. Yes, but just because he's past 18, he could be a child just like the 44-year-old you met thinking, oh, he got something, but it turned out to be his grandmama's Cadillac. I mean, it's kind of hard to quantify because I don't have time to lie to myself because it's a lot harder for me because see, you're educated. I don't have a degree, so that's the first thing everybody want to say at me. But the problem is your car broke down. I spent quite a few years being a mechanic. Uh, shoot, you fell through your floor. I did some carpentry work. I know how to replace that. But I can't even get your respect any other time because you know what? And see, the thing is, a man don't sit there and have to say, I got a college degree to be a man. My grandpa wasn't stupid. He was a man. He raised 11 kids. But in a short period from where my grandpa is to where I am, you don't want that type of man. You
No.
don't want that type of man because what you really that's what you sacrificing. You're educated. That type of man is below you now because you ain't going back.
But there's one thing I try to remind women. Um, they can have it all, but that doesn't mean that they're going to enjoy it all. I mean, they can have that prestigious job and hate getting up and going to work every morning because it's stressful. It's not
Right.
fulfilling. You can have that big old house and you're never hardly home to enjoy it because you're always at work. And when you do get home, you're too tired to enjoy your square footage. You can have your trophy husband, but you're always at work. And if you're not at work, you're home working in your den. And then you're not enjoying your husband. Then you realize, well, if I'm not enjoying time with him, then who is he enjoying time with? Now you've got a marriage that's about to fail. You can have the perfect children. They go to, they're all in school programs. They're into the sports. They go to their private school, but you never get a chance to enjoy your time with your children because you got to put your children on the schedule. You got your fancy car. The mileage on your car is from going to and from work. So yes, you can have all that things, but the fun things in life is being able to enjoy the things you have. And I have yet to see a person have all those things and be satisfied and be content. A lot of times, the simple things in life is what gets you that feeling of contentment.
Let me um let me read a comment in the chat room. Gemini says, and thank you, by the way, Gemini, for you and Judge Dre, and who else? Q for Rita. Thank you all for joining into the conversation and contributing from the chat room. So Gemini says, that's just not true. Just because women are educated doesn't mean they only want men with one. And what do you have to say to that?
Then why are you looking for a decent man and don't have one? See how simple? You see, you see how you try to make it complicated, but you wondering where your man is.
That is true for a lot of women, but that's okay. So, but it's not the degree that makes a man decent.
True, but let me ask you something.
Ask.
Then why is you still don't have a decent man that don't have a degree loving you? If that ain't a problem, you see, you still ain't got the man. Either
Right.
which way, he got a degree or without a degree.
And the thing is, I don't hear no one asking for a decent man. I ain't talking about, oh, I'm a good man because, I've been good and, you know, women thought I was a sucker and everything else. Yeah, okay, so what? But the thing is that you still don't have it. And you saying, well, no, it ain't. No, that ain't the reason. Then what is your reason why you asking the question if that ain't the reason why you ain't got one? And it's just that simple. Because you still find a decent man. You can tell Jack Spade and me are decent men, but you can't find us. You don't notice us. For whatever reason, you got a reason. We ain't an option. And the thing is, you can't ask the question and then lie to yourself why the answer ain't there. Well, that ain't a reason. Then why don't you have one of them men? You still don't have a man, and you can say, well, that ain't the reason. Well, I'm sorry. You still don't have a decent man with or without a college education.
So is okay. So Jack named one way, in my opinion, where a degree is beneficial, in that gets the career and she's able to handle some things in the event an emergency or a tragedy happens and the man can't work, which life happens. We all know that life does happen. Not ask for permission. But here's the thing: does it even take? Well, no. But yes, does it take a degree for a woman to get a job to be able to help take over things in the event something happens to the man? That's one question I want to ask. And another question I want to ask is there any other way that having a degree is beneficial to a relationship with an
All right, I'm gonna answer that. So I have a bachelor's degree.
Welcome, Charles. Welcome, Charles.
So I have a bachelor's degree in mechanical engineering and I have a master's degree in biomedical engineering. But I've
well,
been I've been I've been laid off in engineering 4 times. I've worked as a waiter, I've worked as a security guard, I've worked as a corrections officer, I worked as an x-ray tech. uh that degree don't mean crap when it's time for them to give you that pink slip. If it's time for your ass to go, they're gonna let you go. And when you got bills, you got a family to take care. Oh, that doesn't even include my army career. So
mhm.
yeah, when you get that pink slip and your butt's got to find some type of gainful employment, that degree don't mean crap. You got to find something that brings some money in to at least keep the bills somewhat paid. Put some gas in your car. Put some food on the table until you can land something better. So yeah, the degree is only good for a very minute thing at best. Everything else, that's maturity, luck, uh knowing the right people at the right time, being at the right place at the right time, that those type of things your degree has no control over.
Okay. Charles, can you hear me, Charles? Jack.
See, what happened with a lot of the gynocentric and feministic ways of the current world, as they say, you took the usefulness out of men and they place value the same way they place value on themselves. A college degree does not mean, to a man, a college degree is part of the journey. To a woman, that's the destination. So we look at things differently, but we won't actually come up and admit that we are different. If that makes sense.
That does make sense.
See, for men, we'll tell you, okay, are you attractive? Are you cordial? There's many other things we require from you than just your degree. If that was easy, everybody would get married or laid or whatever.
So But doesn't that agree help? Doesn't that agree help for a woman to get the kind of job that will be able to assist if in the event the man can't provide?
I'll answer that. It does to help her get a job because that job might require you to have that degree. But the thing is that woman really gonna, you know, contribute the paycheck at the time said needs? Because I've been in a situation where been there for years, I lose a job, and then next thing I know, I lost a woman just that quick.
That does happen.
And the thing is that you know there was a time when I was growing up when the only reason I thought people kept saying "man the hell up" because no woman was going to let you sit there and break down, and you can cry on somebody else's shoulder
Hmm.
because see, you can't be strong all the time.
No, you can't.
And the thing is, black women that were at the mindset, I'm strong, period. They got to be strong all the time. And then when you break down and you looking around and you realize you were too damn strong to be weak enough to let anybody love you. And the thing is, but I already know how because I got to man up. Because at the end of the day, you may not choose me, and I'm not allowed to cry about it, fuss about it, or say that's unfair.
Mm. Wow. Oh, wow. Wow. You know what? It's one thing to hear what you just said in the manner that you just said it, where it's complete silence and there's nothing in the background to hear, to cloud out, to drown out what you just said. And I know I've heard what you just said, but I didn't hear it the way with such clarity as before, as now.
Because
Now,
because
because
no one, everybody had an intent to make a point with you. Everybody had the intent to make a point with you, so you were already at a point of defense because you felt you needed to defend yourself. I can't make any accusations. I don't know you personally, and that's the great thing about YouTube. I don't know you personally. Now, granted, you know, I'm one of the few that just run with their name, but the thing is that I'm proud of my name. I don't need a damn degree to make me be any prouder of the man I became from the little piece of crap I was. And I don't need, you see, and Charles can tell you, and I'm pretty sure Jack Spade, whatever his name is, that we a man ain't his degree. The man is what the hell is going to be on my gravestone, and I'm going to be proud of it that it's there.
right.
It, you see, and it's like Charles said, it's two different mindsets because as a black man, only I was born Negro, I'm a live Negro, and I'm a die Negro.
Yeah.
And that's the truth for every black man since the first one came off the slave ship. That's our everyday, whether we like it or not. If the white man ain't doing it, the black woman is, or another black man is, or somebody else, and that's all we got. But when do we get to say, hey, but we're not being selfish?
You're borging.
Oh,
Oh, can you hear me?
Yes.
It's just that, that I mean, that's the truth every black man faces.
It don't matter what degree. It don't matter who you work with. It don't matter if you're a Fortune 500 company in New York City. That pink slip come, what you at? You about to be a broke Negro.
But as a man who's I was married for 7 years. It ended in a divorce. I actually got married in my mid 30s, so I got married older. Um, I'm still a proponent for the institution of marriage. I still believe it is one of the great things for when it comes down to offspring, the protection and comfort of a union. But I think a lot of times we have gotten to the point where we've become so materialistic that we as blacks we're so busy trying to chase behind the top 15% wage earners, and we
Uh-huh.
don't care how we get there. We don't care what we neglect. That we don't see the importance of marriage.
Right.
Like a lot of times I hear, especially on YouTube, men and women talk about they don't need to become legally married. They can be what's that crap they talk? But well, they can live together and they can be married in spirit. But
Uh-huh.
but none of them stop and think about that contract. That contract holds a hell of a lot of weight. That contract can protect your the wealth that you've gained in a marriage. It can protect the wealth that you've gained if one of the other dies, and it also protects during a divorce. That piece of paper, some states is $25, some 50. I think one state is close to 100. But that piece of paper carries a hell of a lot of damn weight. That living together and maybe some wills and trust don't protect, because wills and trust, depending on how they're written, there's always some gaps that marriage certificate will help keep intact.
So how that's true. Okay, so how do we begin to have the conversation with the women? Well, let me rephrase that. At what point do we tell Bill that it's time to stop going to school? You have enough education, you have enough degrees, and now start focusing on a family. Or even though you're still going to school and you have a career, you now is the time to still focus on a family, or finding your mate, or being in a position for your mate, even while you do this, because this is just temporary. I think, in my opinion, I think excuse me, in my opinion, I think women, black women, have been conditioned to believing that what we do as women is going to school and getting a career has been about being a better woman, when it really was about being an adult. And there's a difference between doing things because because the grown folks do, and being what a woman needs to do. Because see, before I meet you, excuse me, the devil trying to stop me from talking. Excuse me. I apologize. Until the man comes, as a woman, as an adult, I'm supposed to pay for my bills. I'm supposed to pay for my housing. If I'm not at home, I need to be responsible with my finances and pay the housing, pay for transportation. I mean, that's being an adult. But when I am getting married, when I'm dating to get married, I'm supposed to be able to surrender, and this is my opinion, be able to surrender and relinquish those that ideal some of the responsibility, some of the energy that I put into that, into partnering with my mate or my potential mate. Letting him, begin, just even beginning to surrender. Even just learning, just beginning to show my care and my concern, and getting the role of helpmate before the ring is on my finger, so that it's not ultra shock when that happens, if that happens. Does that make sense?
Yes, because the thing with marriage, and this is something this is one of the reasons why I got married in my mid-30s as opposed to my 20s, because there's just certain things that I refused to give up. I was not giving up certain things for nobody. Born and raised in Brooklyn, New York, I don't trust a damn soul. But that was one of the things I had to be mindful of. If you're going to get married, bro, you're going to have to trust the woman that you have put that's your wife. You can't be my way or the highway 100%. And I still got a streak of it when I was married, but as a man, you're going to have to relinquish certain things. The wife is going to have to relinquish certain things and work as a team. Each part is going to have their strength. Each part is going to have their weaknesses, but you're going to have to try to find that balance, which is in the best interest of your household, of your household.
Of
Now,
your house.
what works for your household may not work for other households, and what works in other households may not work in your household. So the two of you are going to have to work together as adults and try to find that common ground that's in the best interest of everyone that's underneath that roof, and that includes the children.
Right.
And I'll say this: if you're young, you're a lot more honest about your life. But when you're older, there's a lot of things people like to hide. And we're all adults. So it isn't like we're we're just turned 21 and we just met her at the club or him at the club. We all live lives, and so when you come at it when you're older, it's a thing where you've done lived a life. I've done lived a life.
Hmm.
But are you being honest 100% about your life? Because see, the thing is that it's crazy. Women will trust a man to get them pregnant and give them a baby before they trust a man with their heart. And that be an option before they have a good man or a decent man to really want to have a family with. And the thing is, you've got a world of options and choices, but you never choose that as maybe one of the first choices you want to do before you go out into the world. And you've got all these examples to where you can't turn on the TV without seeing the messed up part of what we just trying to find a decent person, and we got to go through this bog of bull crap everybody has around us trying to find that one decent person at any age past 30 gets difficult nowadays. Now try to figure out, add an extra 10 years, so you in your 40s, you in your 50s trying to find this, but you've already went through your life supposedly already having it, but you made a wrong choice. That person wasn't the person they should have been, and now we're here.
And now we're here.
But
Let's welcome to the panel Judge Dre, Gemini. Did anybody else come up? Okay, we have Judge Dre and we have Gemini. Gemini, you want to go ahead and say something? And welcome to the panel, everybody.
Yes. I wanted to get back to what Mr. Jefferson was addressing because he was coming at me in the chat. I just want to greet everyone on the panel. Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Howdy.
Hello.
Me, I've had
Hello.
several chats. Hello, several live chats where Jack and I have corresponded. And I just want to tell you, Mr. Jefferson, I'm completely content with who I am and where I am.
But
Secondly,
that
I
wasn't aimed
chose.
at you, Gemini. And the
I,
thing is you're defending something that isn't you.
what do you
So I was
mean?
just, well, if it isn't you, why would you have to defend yourself and say? Because I wasn't making that statement towards you. It was just like we said, it's just observations that we see. And I was just
The
talking about from my personal observation from my personal life. It wasn't technically attack against you. Actually, like I said, I don't know anybody. And the thing is that you you're not Gemini. You just Gemini here. But I wasn't even relating to you, Miss, because I just assumed you were one of those. Because every time I see you in the chat, you're not the ones talking all crazy or anything. I mean, you sound like an intelligent woman. What I read, so it wasn't directed at you. I
okay,
just to clear that up, and I apologize if it came off that way.
Yeah,
because it seems like you were going back and forth with what I was saying in the chat. So if you
Oh
weren't,
no, Rainy Woman was just repeating your questions that she was reading in the chat. She was
right.
just corresponding while you were in the chat room because you were being responsive, and then she sent you an invite to join. So I apologize. I was just answering the questions that she was relaying. I didn't mean anything by it if you took offense to it.
okay, no problem.
And
I did want to address the fact that I think there's a lot of miscommunication between males and females, and actually what's going on in society as a whole, and where we're coming from, because we don't come from an age where women can sit back and live at home. Well, most of us live at home until some man comes along and says, okay, I'll scoop you up, pay your bills, and take care of you. My mother passed when I was 16. I've been on my own since I was
oh,
16. I joined the military at 17. So I didn't have an opportunity to sit back and rely on a man to do anything. But I will tell you, I have no problem with submitting to the right man. But I won't submit to any man. And I
mhm.
think a lot of the conversations that I'm hearing, and I'm going around YouTube, and I don't sit on anyone's platform that I'm not comfortable with. I will sit back and watch someone's platform for a month before I even say anything. But the general disconnect seems to be that women have come to a place where they have no choice but to get out in the working market, and to do so and to actually build upon themselves. In order to be successful, they have to have an education. Most of the time you can have a trade, and just like Jack was saying, he was an x-ray tech. X-ray techs are very marketable. So there are trade jobs that you can have and still not be able to find a job. So I think there's a big disparage between men and women. And I wonder, and I know this is getting ready to be loaded, but I wonder if there's an animosity because women have risen with education and career wise over
Mhm.
men.
Well, you got to
Gemini,
think about it. There's some policy. It's because of policy. Black women historically always had more education because they're not going to
Hold
give.
on. Hold on one second, Charles. Let me address a couple of things. Um, One thing I want to address is that this is a safe zone. This is a very safe place, right? I feel like this conversation really has to be had, and I want to tell because I want to help that who is over there trying to find their face all through the potato chip bag. That's what it sounds like.
It wasn't me.
I mean, it sounds like someone's whole body is going through a potato chip bag, and it's not a good sound. But oh, was that you, Gemini? But I wanted to have this conversation because I want to help make a safer path for our future generations. and whatever understanding that we are currently facing to build and get back to a healthy family building. And we've got a lot of things that we've got to sort through. You know what I mean? And so it's very important that everyone gets heard, and it's very important that everyone is respected. So over here, we don't do. So Q497. I know this is not a very entertaining conversation. It's not a happy topic, but it's one that needs to be had. So if you, there are plenty other channels, sweetheart. You know I love you, but there are plenty other channels tonight that I'm sure they are lit. I'm
Well,
not here to be lit.
I was gonna crack a funny with Q for a second, just for entertainment purposes about uh oh, he said he or she. This is this is worse than watching Good Times when Keith got hurt. Keith
Right?
got when Keith got hurt, that was the best thing that happened to Thelma. Because if Keith, because Keith, Good Times, you remember the football player?
Yes.
Yeah. Had he not gotten hurt, Thelma would have got married to the man. She would have had to live that football wives lives. She would have caught him with some white woman. Then she would have burnt the mansion down, burned his car up. Her life would have been ruined. So Keith getting injured was the best thing that happened to Thelma.
Besides the abuse and the alcoholism too, but
I wasn't
besides
ready.
the abuse and
Wasn't
the
ready for it.
alcoholism
Wasn't
and the
ready for
poverty,
that.
So I just said
the,
that, I just said that to liven things up for a second.
yeah,
Thank you. I can
yeah,
appreciate it. I
you
really
know,
thought about this. So thank
poverty is a hell. Poverty is a hell of a drug. Remember that.
you.
Oh
Mm-mm.
man! Now, what was the question? Now, what was the topic about the education? That was entertaining. That was rich, man. That was rich.
Um,
Oh my god, that was rich.
I think
Um,
Gemini,
if she, it,
Gemini presented the question, and I laughed too hard, forgot it.
uh, I was listening to the young lady who was speaking about the differences in education. If she could repeat her statement again, please.
Oh, she said that one of the things that she said it was that women nowadays do not have the liberty of staying at home and waiting for to get married. So it's imperative that they go out into the workforce, go to school, go into the workforce to take care of the children or have babies. And especially when they have situations like she did, where she lost her mother at a very early age, and then she went into the military on her own.
Well, you got to think like a lot of things when it comes to education, especially in the black community. There were there were things put in place against black men for not getting it. Historically, black men didn't
Who
work.
is wrestling outside with bears? Now what is going on?
I kind of dropped my phone a little bit, sorry.
Oh, okay.
But it was like it was a lot of things put in place for black men not to get an upper academia. So we worked a lot of trades, which hey, who gets paid more, an HVAC tech or a school teacher? So we didn't really care how much you were educated. That wasn't a big fact. It still really isn't a big factor to us. And when you take out a lot of jobs, that's what happened during the 80s. See, the 80s, it wasn't just about the crack epidemic, it was also outsourcing jobs in factories, the jobs where men traditionally work.
Mhm.
So if I if I'm working in a factory with a trade and now you outsource my job, I'm out of a job, but you give this woman welfare, excuse me, Section 8 for housing, food stamps, and other sources, she thinks that she's getting ahead just because she has a child. And you pretty much switch the power dynamic where it's like, okay, we need this guy to survive, and now you ain't shit because you're not on my level, which unfortunately is the furthest from the truth. instead of actually using that money to uplift your man, because that's who traditionally pulled the society further. You use it to subjugate your men and your boys. And then when it comes time for your daughters to get married and you to get married, you don't have suitable men because you didn't support anything that went towards your men. So it's a very delicate dynamic.
Indeed, it is. And so what she said, Gemini said, what she wanted to know was, she asked about animosity. Why is there the animosity as a
Um,
result of women's education and
I,
career?
I can tell you, I'm asking you to love, respect me, and support me during our lives together. And every time I say that, a woman says, "You asking me to submit?" I didn't ask to be your master. I asked you to let me be your man. But if every time a man says that to you,
Mm-hmm.
a woman says, "You just asked me to submit," and that's the confusion because we're using two different talking points.
Right.
And and the thing is, the man is asking and telling you what all you need to do is, and it's coming off like we asking you a buttload of stuff. And the only thing we care about is a big butt and a smile. And you a decent damn woman to us because we don't get anybody treating us decent.
Mm.
And y'all making it that complicated. Do you realize the black man started from the same place you started from when they got here? But you got some rank and standard, and we still ain't cracked. And y'all go ahead and let that be the narrative for your sons, your future grandsons, and your future grandbabies. But your
Actually,
granddaughters and your children aren't going to have to worry about that because your boys are still going to have to beat this somehow, just like every man still had to beat it, and I still got to beat it. But we're not on the same level, and we're talking from two different standpoints, and that's the fact. And the thing is, no matter how educated I am, I can't use that. I can't use that as a talking point because I'm not going to be judged. Oh, you got a degree, but you still one of them trifling, baby having men that just got all these kids and stuff. See, there's no winning. See, so I'm being judged on a standard that I can't apply to you, and that's the problem. And y'all keep coming up with all these reasons, and I'm saying, hey, I'm right here. I'm right here. I'm not with a white girl. And y'all still coming up with excuses and excuses. And I'm just simply telling you, hey, can you be those basic three things? And I can maybe buy you dinner and then invite you over to cook it for you. I mean,
But it,
but
but
but it's
it goes
complicated.
it goes by of not being. A lot of black women don't want to be competitive. They don't want to compete. They want everybody to compete for them, but they don't want to reciprocate the treatment. Accept me for who I am, and it's a two pronged issue. I've said this before, BGS and Angry Man's channel, and I'll say it again. Black men are the garbage men of the dating world. We will take shit that no other men will.
Amen.
excuse me,
We will
excuse
take
me.
Amen.
we will take women of all
I
shapes and
hate when you
sizes.
say stuff like that, man, because it's so damn true.
It is. It,
Every man hates it, but they know it's true. And
Excuse
I'm
every
me.
looking at a trash can right now. I'm looking at a trash can right now, man. I tell you right now. I tell you, whoo, it gets hard in these streets.
Wow. Man,
Man,
so
I'm not. I was sitting there laughing. A woman tried to talk to me today. 44 years at home, living at home with mom, no job. It's just like, okay,
you
can you
know,
hear me?
Yeah.
Yes, we can hear you. Let's let Gemini say something. Can you hear us, Gemini?
Yes, I just this is I'm I don't mean to laugh, but it's just funny to me that they're going back and forth, and a woman hasn't been able to give anything as a talking point against anything that they're saying. I do get where they're coming from, and actually, Charles addressed what I was saying. I wasn't speaking on what LaShawn was saying. I was actually Charles actually semi sort of answered my question as as far as the animosity part goes when he was saying that men black men didn't have the same opportunities as black women did. However, that sort of answers my question, but I just I wonder what
What do you want
black
to like? What are you looking for to be answered exactly?
what exactly are you expecting black women to do as far as their education and careers? And what I'm saying, please let me say this, because every woman that I know that has an education and a career is not running around saying those same things. I'm sorry that a lot of men are running into those type of women, but not all women are running around saying those things. I've dated doctors and men with high school diplomas. My best friend has a high school diploma, and I take him any day over the doctor. So it's not about education, but
Would
it is about
Would you
having
marry him?
yes, in a heartbeat. But he
Why
went
did
through a bad divorce and he doesn't want to be married. I want papers. So I'll wait.
so, see? You got to understand that a lot of women may not say it, but the indoctrination seeps through. Remember, we don't believe women what they say. We believe what they do, what their actions are. Women will say, "I want the good guy," but she'll date the criminal. So, hey, we just want you to say honestly, what do you like? If it ain't me, hey, thank you for not wasting my time. Don't string us along and say, hey, I like you, but not. But then wait till like 10 to 15 dates later. Oh, I like you, but only as a friend. We can still go out though. No, that's not fair to that guy. But
Right.
there is no animosity black men have towards a black woman's education. Hell, a lot of black women owe their education to black men, both Pookie and Ray Ray, and the educated lame, and the classic man. So we don't have an animosity. The animosity is when you try to throw the shit in our face. Like we don't need. Guess what? A black man can get to a police department, a fire department, and make $200,000 easy. You got black women who got bachelor's and master's degrees, who are directors and principals of education learning centers and schools, who can't crack 60. So it's we don't give a damn about the title. Give us the money. Give us the living. So we don't have the animosity towards you getting the education because even today you are still getting incentives that black men fought for. You don't throw it up in black women's faces. We don't care if you get it. Now, if you throw it up in our face, that's when a lot of black men, excuse me, will get antsy about it. Oh, I got a degree. What do you have? Let me see. I'm a war vet, so I got the VA education. I got the housing. Police officer. I make this much. I can do this much. I'm certified to do this, that, and the fourth. You know, it's like when Captain America and Iron Man were arguing. You're nothing but what are you without that suit? Philanthropist, billionaire, playboy, inventor, scientist. Shall I go on? You know, it's the same thing. Like we don't care about that. It's the fact that women care more about titles than men. We don't care what title we get as long as you pay our asses.
And the thing is, you keep and women, please, and I really want y'all to realize this. We don't be saying degreed women. We just say women.
Thank
You
you.
keep putting emphasis on degree. And the thing is, that's the problem. I keep saying it. It's just that simple. Nice butt, good smile, damn decent human being, and be a damn decent human being to me. And y'all keep saying, what does a degree woman have to offer?
Damn it,
It's not.
little butts matter.
I said a
Squat.
nice butt, a nice butt,
A
a nice
squat
butt.
matters too.
And
Load that bar up, start squatting.
see, here's the thing. Here's another problem. I hate it when you get with a compliment. I mean, a woman that compliments every dang thing you look for in a woman, defending all the ratchet hoes she knows that will go ahead and snatch that decent man because she had her back turned looking at the bartender about to order a drink.
So true.
And yet, you keep throwing it in the men's faces. And I'm telling you simple, if I could simply find a woman like any one of y'all in my present location and was willing to have a conversation with me, oh, I'll be damned. I won't be a bachelor no more. And my life might get a little complicated and be happy about it. But you know what? None of y'all is recognizing I'm simply a dude. And I'm telling you basically what a dude would do for a decent woman.
You
And
know,
y'all keep ignoring it. And yeah, that's fine. That's why you ain't finding nobody.
Right.
I'm just laughing when she said, "Damn it, little butts matter." You know, guys don't have that liberty. You don't hear women saying, "Damn it, little dicks matter." You don't hear that
You know what I
shit.
mean?
I was really trying to lighten the mood.
I know,
But
but
it's
it's not.
true.
It's not.
But
But it's. We know you were joking. That's why we've been laughing. But it's like.
Yeah.
But it's
But
like nobody's taking offense. By the way, nobody's taking. It's the fact that a lot of things that the one issue every black man across the board can say with a lot of our women, not all, but way too damn many. One, they don't listen to what men want, what men are asking for. You literally have a man, and see, I'm going to break it down. You literally have a man every woman in the world wants. Every other race of woman wish they could have your man, and you look at him like he ain't shit. And what happens is that you can only take you ain't shit for so long till you go looking for greener pastures.
so true.
Oh, I got my education, I got this over them. And then a lot of times, if you do got your education, you got a PhD in grasshopper reproduction or cockroach,
I
or
like
tap
that one.
dance, or tap dance with a cockroach, or something that's not really tangible in the real world, but it sounds nice in academia.
Now, but what about this? I'll tell you, what about, I done heard this from a lot of women. What about the women who got degrees, but they said they went to school and they were just fucking people in the class to do their homework for them?
Yeah, I mean, that takes.
I know plenty of people. I know plenty of people got their like licenses in nursing, and they said, I don't know shit. I was just fucking somebody in the class.
Yeah,
now
I've seen it
this
on
this
both sides.
this was crazy. This was crazy. Right now, I feel like the black man Jar Jar Binks. I'm cute until I start talking.
What happened?
Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right, dude. Everybody else there?
I'm here.
Okay, but did y'all hear me? What I said?
No, you said something. Go ahead. Say it again.
Oh, I said I feel like the black man version of Jar Jar Binks. I'm cute till I open my mouth
Oh.
because this is the simple thing. I don't see why it's so complicated when the guys are simply telling you, and you know decent guys. But the thing is, somewhere along the line, you didn't deal with those decent guys, and now you hoping and praying he can get over the hell he went through.
Well, not only that, does it ever bother you too when you hear they sit up here and they say, this is what they want and whatever, and it's like, oh God, they get that, they're still not happy, or they're gonna find something else to complain about. Well, I sit here and laugh because their lists are long. The man's list is easy, man. I hate to say, I wish we could trade lists.
You know what? Women don't know how to be happy and don't know what to make them happy. or they wouldn't be buying so many pairs of shoes to find a comfortable pair they
But
don't
not,
have to take off and walk in every day.
but I will say this one thing that I don't like about it be some good women, but when I see them protecting like them ratchet holes, well, you don't do that, but you just protecting them because they're a woman. Then I'm like, oh, you a damn fool
And
because
that's the
you don't
problem.
hear us sitting here protecting the dope dealers.
And here's the thing. The two ladies on the panel, do you not realize once you defend them, it's hard to tell you from them?
Basically because either you knew that you used to be that way or all of your friends are
Oh,
that way. So if you were hanging with them, we're
Please
gonna kick you
stop.
to the curb.
I
Please.
mean,
Not
that's
saying
Wait a
not
minute.
saying
Wait
you,
a
but
minute.
we're
oh,
saying in general,
Wait a minute.
Gemini.
Wait a
no,
minute. Let me
because
say
it's a
this.
conversation
Please.
in person. That's what I'm saying. When it happens, it's in person. I know it's a big talking point right now, but I'm just talking because the thing is, both sides, there are a lot of decent, good black women and good black men. And the problem is all this in between stuff. And really, we both saying, hey, we just ain't seeing each other, or we get sidetracked because someone else caught our attention. But we need to recognize each other, and we shouldn't make it complicated for us to even have a conversation one on one in
Excuse
real
me.
time. That's it.
It's four men on the panel. And if I just keep shutting up, I'm not gonna get
I'm
a
sorry,
word in
ladies. I
edgewise.
apologize. I'll mute. It was just, but that's what I'm saying. Y'all ladies are awesome, but the thing is, you're not talking about all the great ones. And then when we say stuff that doesn't apply to you, you start defending yourself.
Right.
But you're not. See, and the thing is, that's the problem.
I'm not defending me. I'm defending women like me. And let me just say this.
We're
I
not accusing the
honestly
women like
can
you.
I can
We're
I
we're
can I
praising the
say
women like
something,
you, but
please?
we're not talking about the women like you. And see, that's the problem. You keep thinking we're talking about the women like you. No,
Right.
we're looking for the women like you. But you keep saying what we're saying, but you're not listening to what we're saying. We're
Right.
not
Hello,
bashing
hello.
you.
I'm
We,
listening and have been listening. You
I
guys
know.
won't let me get a word in edgewise.
Let her speak,
And I'm
man,
trying to
because
be
it's got to
It's
get
her,
respectful.
bad.
it's
Let her
her
speak.
panel, and I.
Go ahead, lady.
I honestly, and I promise you, I don't live in this world that most of these people live in. I honestly did not know how ratchet it was until I started watching Black YouTube. I'm from a military community, have lived in a military community since I was 17, and I didn't grow up where women behaved the way some of these men are portraying. I just didn't. And I can honestly say that I do when I see some of the things that I've seen on Black YouTube on some of these videos, I do understand the wretchedness of some of these Black females. I'm coming from a standpoint of we are out here, and I am extremely sorry that you guys have run into these type of women on a regular. That's unfortunate. But I just have not run into this type of environment. Maybe I'm sheltered, but I don't see it on a daily basis, and I've never seen it on a daily basis.
Matter of fact, what's the closest black neighborhood you live near?
It's probably my neighborhood is diverse, but the
That, that, that,
close,
that, that's
but
not the
will
question.
you let me answer the question? My God. I live in a diverse neighborhood, but the nearest Black neighborhood is probably 10 miles down the street because I live in a more of a developing area.
Go to your newest black neighborhood and you'll see it. Matter of fact, you don't even have to go that far. Go to a lot of your black families and see the dynamics. Does that woman respect her man?
Go to your friend's Facebook page.
I don't have friends like that. You missing the point. I don't have friends like that, and I choose not to be in a community like that.
Are
And
your
I won't change that to appease anybody.
are your
Okay.
friends mostly black or white?
My friends are mostly Black.
All right. Can I ask you a question? Why do you seem a little agitated because they're talking about women like that? If that's not
I'm
you,
not
why is it bothering you?
I'm not agitated at them talking about the ratchets. I'm actually agitated because I can't get a word in edgewise, and it seems like I can't even complete a thought or complete a sentence. That's why I'm agitated, but I'll fall back.
No, go ahead, speak. We letting you speak. We've been taking turns. It ain't like people been talking over you.
Hello?
Charles, you got a lot of like you eating potato chips or something over there.
Oh no.
About to say,
Go
nigga, you
ahead.
could have popped a bag of popcorn for everybody in here. Come on, man.
I'll do it. I'll do it in spirit for all of you.
All right, man.
But go ahead and speak, Gemini. Go ahead.
No, I just responded to Charles's question about my where I lived and I guess someone else asked me who am I mainly around as far as my friends.
See, this is the issue. A lot of people, a lot of see men know the men see it, and see the issue with a lot of black women. I don't know anybody ratchet like that. hmm
All right,
hmm And men
right,
are like, yeah, okay.
all right.
And the reason why they
That's like a man saying you don't know one dude didn't sell dope. We all know somebody,
I said
that,
I don't socialize with those type of people.
but
I
you
don't
know them,
socialize with them and I don't live amongst them.
but you
but you
know
know
them,
them.
No, I don't know them personally.
but
And
you
respectfully, I don't know them
Creative
personally.
wording.
not personally, but do you know them?
And have I seen wretches? Yes, but
Uh,
I'm not around them. I don't work with
we didn't
them.
say
I
we
don't
didn't.
live amongst them. And
But
so
no,
you're trying to
Gemini.
create an environment that I just don't have. And I'm so sorry that I
But no,
don't share.
but Gemini. The way you act like they don't exist.
I
That's
didn't
the thing.
say that.
Now, we
That's
could tell.
see,
We could tell if women are ratchet or not. Just get them mad.
Thank
see,
you.
Get 'em a little pissed
I'm
off.
not saying they don't exist. And
Oh,
then
that
I could
ratchet
have
come out of
sworn
all of them if they get mad.
I could have
Yeah.
sworn, I could have sworn I said, I'm just not accustomed to seeing this degree of wretchedness until I came to Black YouTube.
All right,
It's
here's a
some
question,
seriously
Gemini.
disturbed Black mothers out there. It's some seriously disturbed Black women out there.
All right, Gemini, are you bi?
Hell no! I'm
Okay.
sorry.
Well, that's
I'm
I'm gonna
sorry.
let you know something. That's probably why you definitely don't notice if you don't say like that because you don't pay attention to them in that level.
And
Okay,
then,
I've got one question for Gemini, and then I've got a question for both of the ladies. Gemini, you said you were in the military, right?
Yes.
Then you're lying about not knowing a ratchet female because you served with one.
Okay, Sean,
Okay,
sir.
okay.
I
You
did
know,
not,
you
and
know
I
it. You
do
know it.
not
You know it.
associate with them.
No, but you might have went to basic with one of them.
Wait a minute.
Did you go
Number
through
one,
basic?
number
Did,
one,
women join the military too, and you
yes,
know what?
they
Ratchet
do,
females serve
but you're
too.
not allowed to be
And
wretched
oh
in
shit.
basic training. I'm sorry.
ma'am, oh,
Oh,
okay,
oh shit.
okay, okay.
Like you,
Here's
like what branch of service are you in?
Army.
Oh, you definitely allowed to be ratchet. You hide it better, but you're allowed to be ratchet.
Okay, I'm not gonna argue with you if you
That's why you
say
laugh
if
because
you
you know
no, no.
they were.
As a
Some of them
matter of
were.
fact, no, no. As a matter of fact,
And where did you go to
as I
basic?
stated before, let me get this out. As I stated before, my mother passed when I was 16. I went through basic training numb, not knowing anything, not caring about anything, just trying to get through there. Okay? So let me put it to you right there. Let me stick a pin in it right there. I don't associate with loud, wretched women. I don't like the attention on me. This is the first panel I've ever gotten on where I got on the panel. My name is Gemini because I like my autonomy. I like my anonymity. I I don't want to be known. I like to fall back and I like other people to be in front of me. So I don't hang around with a lot of loud, wretched people. I don't like that. First and foremost. So please don't put me in a place where you're trying to make me say that something that's not true. I don't
Gemini.
associate with these kind of people.
We
Well,
just asked, did you know any of them? We didn't say you associated with them, and that's where you're taking it. And that's the thing.
Again, I said I probably ran across them.
Okay, that's what we meant. We and see, we don't want you to sit there and take it like we're
actually trying to lump you into the group. You're
No, no, no,
clearly
no.
not
That's
part
not
of it.
that's not what I think. I don't think that at
Okay,
all because I know I'm
all
not
right.
wretched. What I was
I know.
saying was you guys keep saying acting like I don't know they exist, and I keep telling you may know that they exist, but I didn't know to this degree. I honestly did not know to this degree. Let me put it like this: I didn't know how bad they were until I came to Black YouTube. A mother cursing her daughter out, saying all kinds of vulgar stuff about her wanting her man and her doing this. I just didn't know this kind of thing was going on.
Okay, and I've got a question for both the
Uh,
ladies.
wait a minute. Wait,
Um,
before you do that, let me chime in on something real quick.
Go ahead.
Let me get my 45 seconds in. Since we got 11 people on the watching right now, I'm putting out applications for women with small booties, small breasts. Thank you, Jesus. As long as she can fry chicken, she can fix cheese grits. She doesn't force her man to eat tofu, and
Help maintain a household.
go army, go army. All right, continue.
You ain't nothing, Jack. Shut up.
Hold it. I'm gonna give 15 seconds of silence to let that set in.
I think you might need to repeat that because you know sometimes what you say and what they hear are two different things. So go ahead and say it one more time.
Praise the Lord. Pass the bullet. Thank you, Jesus. I'm good now. I want to get my 45 seconds in. I'm good.
Now, ladies, here's my question. Well, Gemini, you did say you knew a guy in high school and he was decent, but y'all didn't like fall together during that time.
No,
And
let me correct you before
oh,
you keep going. Let me correct you before
okay,
you
go
keep
ahead.
going.
Nope.
What I said was I've dated doctors and I've dated people that just had a high school education. My best friend just has a high school education, and I would choose him any day over the doctors
Oh,
that I've dated.
I,
That's
I
what I
thought it
said.
was a person you dated in high school. I misunderstood. I apologize for that. But there are decent men you walk past every day because for whatever reason, for that split second you looked them up and down, they didn't suit you, and you didn't even give them opportunity. And they might even said, "Excuse me, hello." I, um, I happen to notice you know, your dress catching in the wind. You know, it looks good, and you thinking he's really trying to pull some pickup line, but you actually caught his attention, but you just blow him off. And the thing is that I'm one of those guys that, you know, women keep saying, well, this and this and this, but I'm the guy you keep blowing off. But I've got too many women sitting there asking me why we ain't work out because you told me no. And how many men have you told no to that were decent men, and you kind of wish that maybe you woulda, if you're in a situation where you're single, and and see, this is part of what the main topic is you got your degree, you got all this, but you still don't have the love. But you kept telling the men that might have really loved you, no. But you don't want to put no emphasis on none of that. And you might have just told the man that could have made you happy for the rest of your life, no, because you know what? He might have just got off the job dirty in his work uniform. And you probably know women like that. And we can talk about the good women that miss their opportunities and wondering where is the problem at, since you know. Anyone y'all can take that over. I'll put myself on mute.
I guess they're lost for words.
I'm not lost for words. I was just gonna let Rainy take this one.
Oh, I was
Cause
gonna chime. I was gonna chime in again. The real army, the be all you can be, the old school army, train to save, rocking them on, huh?
Who?
All right, I'm done with that.
Sport betting, rocking the motherfucking mind. Ugh. Starting to feel old every time I hear that. Just got to put that out there.
Oh, since we got some dead air, here we go. I wouldn't be a bean. I wouldn't give a bean to be a fancy pants marine. I'd rather be a dog-faced soldier like I am. I wouldn't trade my old ODs for all the Navy's dungarees, for I'm the marching pride of Uncle Sam. On army posters that I read that says be all that you can. So they're tearing me down to build me over again. I'm just a dog-faced soldier with a rifle on my shoulder. I eat raw meat for breakfast every day. So feed me ammunition, keep me in the third division. This dog-faced soldier's A-okay. Yes, I've been indoctrinated. I got out in 2006, and I still remember them damn words.
I would have preferred M16 and a 45. Those are the tools we live by. But, that was pretty good.
Rocking them on, baby, rocking them on.
Oh, man.
Now, now, ladies,
You must have went
um,
to bidding.
ladies, um, that's kind of the hard question. And the thing is that y'all is when we talking about the ratchet, y'all didn't know it was so ratchet and everything's so ratchet. Y'all quick to be defensive and put an F on your chest for every female. But when I ask you a serious question and it's back on why didn't you pick any of the decent men that you just thought wasn't decent?
No, 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 no.
And
I was giving I was
no,
just falling back
I
and allowing the
yeah,
lady of the panel to speak on this
yeah, but
issue.
it's no, I mean it's a very hard question.
It's not
But
hard for me.
well, a lot of women don't realize it's just that simple. I'm not talking, and the thing is that I'm saying I want a decent woman. But if you don't sit there and think I'm even worth your time, you walk past me, why are you fussing? You the one said someone wasn't good enough for you, so why you fussing?
Are you venting right now, or are you
No,
asking a
no,
question
no, no.
Answer the
that can
question.
be?
Because see, that goes for both men and women.
But
You-
when I
it-
answered the question, I was told I was
no, I'm
told it
saying
doesn't
for the
apply to me.
majority of them. No, because you said that ain't your problem, so it doesn't apply to you.
So what do you want me to answer?
No, I'm just saying, why is so many women, since you are women and you talk to women, I was asking as a single black man looking for a decent woman, why is it so difficult? And they keep walking past decent dudes because they don't think they worth it. And I was asking you because I wanted y'all should be included into it. And I just, as a guy asking women that I'm able to ask because I'm having issues.
I can only suggest you change your demographics and get out of the area that you're looking for someone in.
Hmm.
So I think once again, it's kind of a two pronged issue. If a woman tells you she likes a certain guy, you're not that guy. You shouldn't chase that woman. But at the same time, women should be more honest about what gets what good runs, what turns their crank. So it's a little bit of give and take.
I believe there is some disingenuous. I believe both men and women are disingenuous when it comes to that, and
Agree.
it's almost like it's taken for granted that there are a lot of guys. See, and what I hate is the labels of. I understand them, but I hate the labels of the Pookie, the Ray Ray, and the educated lame, because a lot of men fall into both of those categories because all men that are educated aren't lames, and all men that are pookies and ray rays aren't really pookies and ray rays in the sense of that they're not good men. And when I say pookies and ray rays, I'm not talking about somebody with a record and that's knocking people teeth in
Not all
and
Pookies
committing
are
crimes. That's not what I meant.
not all Pookies and Ray Rays are criminals.
Okay.
The Pookie and Ray Ray is basically a street dude, a more blue collar dude.
And okay, so wait a minute. A Pookie and a Ray Ray is a blue collar dude.
The more blue collar, meaning, for example, I know plenty of dudes who had the street life but have degrees. I remember on Obsidian's channel, a dude put up a picture saying, "What about the educated lames?" No, and I was like, and I quote, "No homo. Those are handsome guys. Women would throw themselves at. Those are the guys that are fucking everything and anything they want on a college campus. They're far from lame. The educated lame, by direct definition, exact definition, is a socially awkward man who went to college and graduated. Not the guys who I don't know a Q that's socially awkward. Sometimes you might see one that's a little too social. Can we agree? So see, the problem with the real problem, Gemini, when it comes to black men, we're not allowed to be multifaceted. We got to be one or the other. We can't have a little bit of everything in us because for all the dudes who talk about Pookie and Ray Ray, y'all do the same shit as Pookie and Ray Ray. Y'all do the same shit as the educated lane. You do the same shit as the classic man. Like right now, how many brothers on the panel own multiple suits?
On what?
Own multiple suits and shoes.
Not multiple sets of shoes?
I got
And
multiple shoes. I got
multiple suits.
I can't hear you both talking at the same time.
Like, how many of you own multiple suits and shoes?
Oh, no, not me. I only got one.
I do.
I you can't count me. I'm a player. That's just part of it. That's part of my whole uniform. I'm sorry.
So yeah, that would be the
Yeah.
classic man. That would be the classic man thing. When the classic man is going to wear that suit, and he's going to be just as comfortable in a suit as he is in a pair of jeans and Jordans. See, I think we get the definitions wrong when they're like, "Well, why don't these women like me?" Well, ask. So that's all you got to do. Women, it's not. See, here it is. Women may not like you because you may not have the height, the build, or the charisma they want. And a lot of these guys should be okay with it. Just be essentially be yourself. Stop worrying about what the women like yourself first. Because if you're no woman likes a guy with no confidence. If I came up to you, Gemini, and be like, "Hey, how you doing? My name's Charles," and start running away, are you gonna give me your number?
No.
But if I came up to you like, "Hi, my name's Charles, what's yours?" And maybe crack like a little lighthearted joke or something to ease the air. That'll get your attention a little bit more, right?
Yes, of course.
Yeah. So you got a lot of people, and I do have to blame social media because social media made a lot of us not too social. You have a lot of guys who could say all the game on Facebook and Instagram, but they get in front of a girl, they're ice.
Well, I'm gonna chime in one more time. Out of fairness for Rainin and the fact that she did take the time to open up this hangout, is it possible we can go back to the questions that she had posted on the front part of the page? One was what is she seeking? Second one was what do men want? It's lined up 1 to 7.
All right. Well, if you can see it, go down the list and we'll address each one.
Okay, I think we did cover number 1, which is what is she seeking? I believe we covered that one. I don't think we covered what do men want. That's number 2.
I think we covered that quite a bit.
Yeah, it
Oh,
was.
It
She
was the
got looked.
other way around,
Yeah,
but it should
yeah,
yeah.
be.
yeah.
I mean, y'all know, man. I'm 54, man. I got an old man's mind. All right, let's try. Okay, we did number 4, the career. Number 5, ability and or willingness to submit. We kind of touched that, kind of. Number 6 was head of house. I know we didn't cover this one.
Oh no.
Number 6, head of household, business partner, or helpmate, wife, mother, nurturer, or competition. I think we vaguely touched that one. I think we only covered like maybe a minute of that. And number 7, how, if possible, can he turn it around? So since I don't really think we covered number 5, we'll entertain number 5 for a minute. Ability and or willingness to submit.
And I hinted on the submit thing. I don't like the submit thing because then it becomes who has power, and then that's an argument. As in, since anytime someone says submit, someone gets irritated. And I'm like, if you both have the same goal of taking care of the household, then that should be it. You shouldn't. And see, that's what it is. It's been a battle of power between men and women. And the thing is, men are really just looking for someone when we get weak, we can close the door, no one can see us, and we can be weak with somebody because we go through a lot of stuff. And the thing is, we don't ask for a lot, but I don't know if it's taken wrong or maybe the man who's doing it is presenting it wrong or doing it wrong. And the battle of it is that someone has to be leading, but it's never that both of y'all are leading it to a home because you would need both of y'all to be the home. And you know what? One of y'all gonna be smarter and know something that the other one doesn't. You're gonna have to lead at that time, but you're still working together for that home. And no one wants to really. I'm thinking that's what the battle is between it because we forgot that common core.
Okay, out of fairness for Judge, would you like to chime in, Judge?
No, I mean that's it's pretty much the same thing. What I think, right on. So there's nothing else to add to that.
All right, Gemini. No offense, I'm just going to cut over to Charles, and then I'll come back to you.
Yes, sir.
All right, there,
See,
Senor.
every relationship is a power dynamic. We fool ourselves saying it's not. A woman doesn't want a man to be her equal. She wants a man to be her protector and provider. Think about it. If a woman had a choice to go home and be Susie homemaker or work every day, if she had confidence in that man, she would prefer that. She wants a man that's a problem solver. She wants a man to be the protector, procreator, provider. So there's always going to be a huh.
I think that was just an echo.
Uh, so she's always gonna want that. So it's always a power dynamic. The difference now is that a lot of women out there want to do all the things, have all the power and authority of men without any of the responsibility or accountability. That's where we get a little. And the word submit doesn't mean master slave. It's cooperate. Are you cooperative? Because why am I going to be with somebody who's not cooperative? That's why I always said we are the garbage men of the dating pool because we will take shit that no other race of men will take. We'll look at our women and she'll yell and fuss and cuss and sometimes some of these women do it in public. And we'll take it as, oh, that's just being her being her. Where other races of men be like, you're done.
All right. Thank you. Gemini. The question was ability or willingness to submit. from a woman's perspective. I know you can't speak for all women, so from your perspective.
I think that there has been this synonymous thing of submit equals curse word on YouTube. I'll just say on YouTube. I have no problem with the word because in my mind and in my experience, I understand what it means. But it seems like on Black YouTube, it's a lot of Black men saying this and not defining it, and it's a lot of Black women that are not understanding the where these men are coming from, because it seems like, and no offense, LaShawn, it seems like when you get into these conversations with men, it's like the dynamic that LaShawn and I had earlier, where it seems like he's coming at me, so I'm coming back at him. So there's a large disconnect. And it seems like when I see these types of conversation, it's like Black men are saying submit, 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 and they're saying this, but they're not saying submit to me because we're in a committed relationship where we've established that we're going to be together forever. It seems like Black men on YouTube are saying submit, submit, submit because I'm a man and you're a woman and you should just submit to me, period. And that's not in my mind and in my experience. I'm not submitting to any man that's not my husband or that I'm in a committed relationship with, working towards that. I'm not going to do that. I will be agreeable with you to a certain degree, but I'm not going to submit to you because I have to hold my own interest at heart. And you can't submit to just anybody. And there's a trust factor that goes along with submitting yourself.
And Gemini, you are
Yes.
100% right. And that's what I mean. You see how, like you said, submit turns into being a cuss word. That's why I said I don't like the word submit, because it seems to be like a master servant setup, and see, that's the way it's taken. And there are those guys saying, "No, you need to submit because I'm the man," and he's beating his chest like that little black boy with the Sprite can or a Sprite bottle in his hand, beating his chest, talking about he a man, he a man, he a man. All right, but the thing is that I'm thinking that through overtime or situations or the group you hang with, all of a sudden to pick up the mannerisms of this means this and this, and this is why I hate the titles, because now a word means something totally different than what it used to mean 10 years ago. So when you talk like that, then now you say one word that means something that different now, and it's nasty. And I'm thinking that's part of the problem why we got this disconnect. And you kind of explained it to me to where I can actually understand where the woman might be coming from and why she might take it that way. So I thank you on that.
Now there's one thing I've noticed, and I'm a shit starter, so I like to ask deep thinking questions just to get people riled up. When and I don't do this just on YouTube. I do this in the real world also. But the thing when the word submission comes up, one of the things I ask is are the people that's male and female, are they talking about submitting to that other person or submitting to the duties and expectations within your household? Like I said, each house operates a little different, but are people willing to submit to the duties and expectations that's required of them to maintain a household? And whenever I ask that question, almost damn near 100% of the time I get to deal with the headlight look, because I think a lot of people don't really sit back and think about what is their duties and expectations within that household, under that roof, that's going to be of benefit of that household.
I honestly thought it was the same thing. I thought it went hand in hand. I thought it was under the umbrella of submission.
Well, I asked a question to a question to see if people was really thinking about the answer that they gave. And like I said, when I asked about their duties and expectations, man, you should see them the damn deer in the headlight look.
I thought basically you're both working towards the betterment of the house. It's just, it's your house. You both live in there.
the reason you got together because you really love each other and decided, you know what, I really wouldn't mind spending the rest of my life with you. And then you get married, and then you plan a family, you know, and that and see, this is the problem. Everybody knows what they need to do, but are you doing what you need to do to have what you really want for the long term? And everybody's doing their short term goals before they even think about what the true long term goal is. And by the time they get there, they got all these reasons and excuses to why someone ain't going to be the best thing for them, and they don't ever get the best thing.
But you know, based on the questions that I've had, and this is I've been asking this crazy ass question for like 25 years. And like as you say, people they do know or they should know. When it comes time to verbalize it or even put it up on the board, no, That's it seemed like that's something that they've never really put any thought behind. It's almost like, well, I'll do this, and then everything else should just fall in place.
Can
Yeah,
I ask a question? Because
go ahead, Gemini.
are people really getting to know each other?
No,
I'm
ma'am.
okay. I
No,
mean,
ma'am.
because it seems like there's like nobody's really talking to one another, and there's these expectations that are just not discussed. It's like people get into a physical relationship before they get into a mental relationship with one another, and it
And that's the
destroys
disconnect.
all focus.
And that's the disconnect. Because see, we're a panel of people that we want to get to know the person because we know what sex and the baby can be if one of us slip up and we stuck with each other. But on the other side, there's people who ain't doing that. I mean, there's people on YouTube sitting there shaming everybody. Everybody got names, and we're responding to it. We're trying to, get to the core of it. Is that there's a group of decent damn women and a group of decent damn men. But between all this hibbity habbity habbity by all the people doing all the stupid stuff, we so busy defending that we don't realize we're not getting together because of everybody else is stupid. The stupid of everybody else is the reason why we can't find the common ground because we dealing with everybody else's bull crap instead of just saying, "Hey, you don't have any bull crap. I don't have any bull crap." And it's you dealing with everybody else, so you walk by that person. And see, that's the thing. We're arguing about other people stupid, but we have to defend ourselves so we can make a separation. So you notice we're not stupid people.
But now getting to know each other is a hard question to answer for a lot of people. But the next hardest question is people getting to know themselves. So whenever this part of the conversation gets started, I ask, has anyone taken the time, and this is both male and female, because I do this with groups of 10, 20, 50, depending on how large the event is. So I'll ask, has anyone taken the time to acknowledge, take ownership, repair/nurture, and develop protective measures of their mental health, physical health, financial health? And I get somebody who asks, well, how do you do that? I says, okay, how you do that is achieved by acknowledging, taking ownership, repairing/nurturing, and developing protective measures of your strengths, weaknesses, limitations, and negative tendencies. And of course, I get the deer in the headlight look again by both the males and females, because in my opinion, before you can even try to learn or converse with the potential partner, you've got to have yourself in order. If you know yourself, it makes it easier to try to start learning the other person on the other side of the table. And I think a lot of times we don't think about ourselves first. We look towards that other person to fix us.
Ding, 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 ding.
Oh no
And
no 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 no
no,
no
no,
no
no,
no 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 no
no.
no 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 ding 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 ding. That's wrong response. You're supposed to get up and act crazy and tear up the computer. No 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 no.
Sir, you look. Here's the thing. She may be a black woman, and I may be a black man. Don't mean me stupid and crazy when we hear common sense.
I
Why are
said
we
it
gonna act?
jokingly. I said
I
it
know, but
jokingly.
but see, that's the thing. But the thing is, there are people who will respond, act a fool, and they're the ones doing all the screaming and hemming and hawing and hemming, and we're arguing their points. And see and see that's the issue, and that's the complication because see on a one-on-one level when just say me and Jim and I meet and you know we just happen to see each other and I actually say excuse me miss can, can I borrow 5 minutes of your time and see if you let me maybe get an hour and we can maybe have brunch or something, just that moment. And if she's not open to it and I don't come off right or you know she come off sounding like a donkey when she laughs at a joke, and that just throws me off. There's 1,001 variations of what it is, but the thing is that Gemini thinks about that, and I think about that. But the problem is, a lot of these people who are asking this question haven't even thought about, okay, what's really going to make me happy and everything else, because either you learn from your pains and your mistakes, or you just try to find something to take your pain away and something you can blame your mistakes on. And see, that's the thing is that's the best way I can explain it.
I think what Jack was saying was imperative is the we don't take the time to look into ourselves and to heal our and be healed before we go into relationships. We're looking into relationships for things that we should be looking into ourselves for. And that was his main point. He was kidding about the throwing the computer and all that other stuff. He was just joking, which I thought was funny. But
But we
but
also know it's true because there's feuds right now on YouTube over this crap.
All right, this is what I like. Dead air. Perfect. Let's get down to the next one. Okay, number 6. Head of household, business partner, or helpmate. Hell, I'm not too sure how she's questioning this, but we'll take it like this. Okay, fellas. Oh shit! How in the hell she's questioning this? Oh well, we'll just put it out there. Head of household, business partner, or helpmate, wife, mother, nurturer, or competition. Y'all figure out a way how to answer this one. Okay, so let me say this part about the head of household. I'm going to speak of my father for a second. Now, my father was a Rolling Stone. He was one of these type of men. He can make $800. He can be paid $800. Get his check, $800 check at 5 p.m. And by the time he makes it home at 6 p.m., he's broke. So for him, the best thing was for him to have married a woman. It wasn't my mother. He ended up remarrying someone else down the line, where she ended up basically taking a paycheck and giving him allowance. If it wasn't for her, pretty much taking on that head of household role, he would not have been able to survive. So I think with some men in some households, yes, the wife is going to have to step up and take on that role. For the more responsible guys, maybe 50-50 works fine, and sometimes some household it's just best for the male, for the husband, to just take on that head of household. I'm the conductor of this train type of situation. So that's my spill.
Every CEO has a chief financial officer. So even he's still, if he's bringing home the bread, he's still head of household. She's just the CFO. They just know what works and what doesn't work for them too. When you gave the example of your father and his wife, a lot of times I think that we we get hung up on so many things. Is the man going to be the leader? Yeah. One, the woman's not. You're not looking for your wife to protect you physically. When sounds go down in the house, she's going to tell your ass to go down there and check. So there's more times you're going to be doing the leadership, taking the lead role anyway. But it does not lessen her role as well. If somebody says 50-50, whatever works for their relationship, that's cool. Some men pay all the bills and the women just pay whatever else is left. So it's a very delicate dynamic. But for the part when you said, is she a wife, mother, or competition? If you're marrying your competition, you're fucking crazy. I'm just put it out there. Are there some women who are in competition? Yeah, but that's why you need a very good vetting process not to deal with women like that. Um, you have to be a wife and a mother. So if you plan on getting, it's one of those skill sets that you must have. Are you both a good person, a good husband, a good wife, a good father, a good mother? It's one of those necessary requirements if you want something to be successful. If not, stay single. Next. Hello.
This is 107.5
Oh, I was waiting for
WBLS. You are
Jack.
now on the air.
I was waiting for Jack to keep directing the train.
Yeah, I
Oh,
think we.
you guys, Charles answered. Anybody else? All right, I'll chime in now. For me, head of household, I am a control freak, and I think I have a very good mind. I am um, driven to accomplish goals and aspirations. So for me, head of household. Now, if I was married, yeah, my wife would have she'll have a say so. But at the end of the day, once it's time to get that train moving, I've got to make a decision that I feel is in the best interest of everyone underneath our household. And I have to know when to hold them, when to fold them, when to walk away, and when to run. And if I make a grand decision and that grand decision don't work out, then I've got to put my head under the guillotine and take that L.
Okay, I took a second because I wanted to absorb everybody's answers, and I come from a mindset of head of household. I mean, that's just who is making the decision in the best interest of the home, but it's always both of y'all the head of household. If you're a couple in a home, I mean, yeah, the man's gonna do what the man has to do because his role as a man. That's his rule book, and a woman's supposed to do what a woman's supposed to do. And I ain't talking about like all the barefoot and pregnant and none of that stuff. It's the core values, but if you ain't working towards the betterment of the home, I've had more women try to destroy the home around me because they didn't get their way, but it wasn't the right decision at the time, and it wouldn't have worked out. But it's a thing to where you should never fight over who's running the house because you're supposed to share that house, love each other in that house, and you're supposed to be able to respect each other. Period. And and that's the battle because once it becomes, well, I'm running everything, I'm the head of household, so your word is law. I mean, and then that becomes a problem, and then it becomes another problem because you got an issue from this problem, and that becomes a problem, and then it starts to fracture because then it becomes a competition, and that's when the relationship starts to break apart. So, I mean, head of household is, do you respect that person in the house when they make a decision and you know it's in the best interest of the house and you can trust that decision with them leading, whether it's him or her. And that should be the definition of head of household. There isn't one, I'm the head of household, my word is law, because sometimes that, like you said, if it wasn't for her giving him allowance, he would find he would find a way not to have that paycheck an hour after he got off. And there's going to be times to where that woman might have to, because she gets paid, but before she come home, that paycheck's spent. But if she doesn't respect and trust that they gonna be all right doing that with you, see, then you're the head of that, and that's part of the household we need to keep around, because that's the money. And so, that's what I mean. Certain times that woman's going to be better, that man is going to be better. You got to respect that person's decision and trust it. If you don't, then you don't have a relationship.
All right, Judge. Anything? Hey, Judge, put the controller down, man. I know you're trying to play catch up on Madden 19. I'm trying myself too before
No,
2000. Come on, you
not
gotta
a
come on.
Madden player. Trust me. I thought about it. I ain't pulled my Xbox out in so damn long. I'm more of a Destiny player, but that's been a long time ago.
All right,
But no, I
we
agree
gotta
with
we
it.
gotta get we gotta get you back in the loop, man. We gotta get you back in the loop.
Yeah, no, but he's definitely right. I sit there and think, because sometimes you have to realize that you have to go with the best decision for the household, and a lot of times us men, we think a lot different than women, because I've had that problem in my relationships, where most of the time the women make a hard decision based on emotion, where men make a lot more based on, say, the logical outcome or what's more likely to happen by going this route. And I think that really tears a lot of our relationships up. I know that that's actually ended a couple of mine, because one of my things I've always told my children, last time I checked, I'm trying to be your father. Not trying to be your friend. I said, I was trying to be your friend. Of course, everything would be fun. But, sometimes, the man knows he has to make these difficult decisions and live with the, consequences of these decisions. And I see a lot of times in our relationships, everybody wants to sit up here and make the decisions. But I only see the men that want to actually take responsibility for the decisions, where the women I've always seen make excuses. If the decision, say they just make a decision and it turned out to be the wrong decision, well, they'll say, well, the only reason it didn't work is because of this, that, and the other, where, they didn't factor in that, hey, this thing could happen here and that can ruin the whole thing.
All right, thank you. All right, Big Chuck, what you got there, G?
Man, I thought I answered already.
I thought you did too.
All right, Gemini.
I believe it was actually well covered. For me, I didn't quite understand the way it was phrased either. And it just, I guess it depends on the situation. But as far as I'm concerned, the man is the head of the household. Now, when it comes to the business partnership, that's where you start distributing things like finances. If she's better at finances, then that's where your business partnership comes in, like Charles was saying. Um, and we're helpmates to one another. It's a cooperative thing. We have to be partners as far as that's concerned. But my definition of head of household is pretty traditional.
Okay. All right. Before we get to the last question, I'm gonna start a little drama here. All right, Gemini. You said you're in or you were in the army.
I was.
All right. What was your MOS so I can make fun of your MOS? You wasn't a
Which one?
paper pusher.
You mean which one?
Which one? Yeah, which one?
Okay.
You wasn't no petroleum specialist, were you?
No, actually, I started out with Como, and like I said,
Mm,
I was 16. I didn't know anything when I went in. I actually could have gotten any job I wanted to. Then I went to operating room technician,
Mm,
and then chaplain.
mm. You wasn't messing around with that. What they call it? MSC, multiple subscriber equipment, or did they change the name again by the time you went
Yeah, I
in?
did. I actually did. I know what you're talking about. You're talking about the e-backs?
Man, I don't know. I don't
You
know.
mean okay. You mean medical equipment, right?
Oh
The
no,
Phil-
for the commo.
oh no, not at all. I got out of coma pretty quickly.
Okay, okay. Also, as soon as I mentioned somebody jobs in the military, also Charles dropped off. What happened, man? Oh well. All right. Well, I can't make fun of your MOS now, even though you wasn't in combat arms, but that's we'll settle that.
And that's a whole subject because I never wanted to go to the front lines. I'm sorry, I'm not equal. I never considered myself to be equal with a man. I did not want to go to combat. I did not want to stand on the front lines. You guys can have that. Thank you.
I was messing. You know me. I told you what I told you. What I tell you about my
You a
trolling.
stir, you a pot stirrer.
All right. Let me figure out how I can finish this last one. How, if possible, I know this is gonna be a loaded question, Jesus Christ, but I'm gonna try it anyway. How, if possible, can they, and we'll say we'll say both genders, how can we turn it around? I'll start off by saying I ain't got a slightest idea. Prayer, Jesus, I don't know. Any other takers? Anybody else want to challenge this one?
Sure,
All
I'll go
right.
ahead.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Give
All
me
right,
some more
I'll
time.
say I don't think we can turn it around in this generation. To save maybe us or the generation right below us. We can probably say the people who are like that generation that around 12, 13. But I think that it's just so embedded in people's minds, this way of thinking that, it's like this, the men have taught you better do whatever you need to do to support a household. The women are taught you don't need, been ingrained in their head, you don't need a man for shit. I mean, it's a bad scenario. You got two type of damaged people. The men are taught you're not going to get no help, and you better be able to do everything on your own, this, that, and the other, and you don't show no sign of weakness, which just bottles them up to keep a lot of shit inside. And the women are taught you don't need a man for shit. Don't let nobody tell you nothing, this, that, and the other. Think about it. Two people from those different point of views is going to be a hard time trying to find people to get along. That's been instilled in your head.
Come on, brother. You had 10 more minutes. Come on, man. Can't be cheating us. Can't be cheating us out of your wisdom. Come on, man.
That's it.
Ah, damn. Okay.
Gemini, would you
That's what
like
it
to
is.
go?
Just I wanted to keep it simple so they can, I mean, think about it. We're damaged in a way like that. Think about it. Men have been told, suck it up, take it. You're not supposed to complain, this, that, and the other. The women have been told, growing up, you don't need a man for shit. You can't trust him, this, that, and the other. I mean, you see what I mean? Two people like that. I mean, you were born that way, and she was born that way. How do you people? Unless you go against your home training, those are probably a small number that goes against their home training are the ones who are actually in reasonable relationships, But think about it, it was instilled in your head. That was like, that was the water you were born in.
All right. Hey, I appreciate it, Judge, man. I'm about to put on my tap dancing shoes and put on the show to fill up that 10 minutes. You saved me. Thank you.
Well, here's the thing. Ain't no way in the world I'm gonna say a generation or my whole people. That's impossible. And if you actually think you're going to, what you're hoping is that if you live your life the right way, and like you said, do when Gemini asked, do people even get to know each other? Well, first get to know the person. It's great. Yeah, I mean, there's women I want to get to know because now I'm at that age. It's that's how you save it because the thing is, it used to be we had enough people around doing it right to where you got jealous because they were doing it right. And we all still got people living that's doing it right. And we never use them as an example. We always get, but then it somewhere along the line, I don't know what happened. It became we got jealous because someone got away with something, and we want to get away with something too. And that and it seems like that's what the real battle is. When you quit trying to make it sound like a very big word that most people have to look it up and wouldn't even know how to say it right for Google to spell it for them. But when you basically come down to it, a man wants a woman wants a man. But for whatever reason, we can't even go through our basic natural instinct because we think too damn hard. And the thing is, we don't ever think about what do I really offer somebody when that good person's there. And you're gonna run across your stupids, you're gonna run across your bad. It's just you don't want the worst outcome. And the problem is by the time most people want that, they done really messed up their lives. And then it becomes all the stuff you ain't never dealt with. And I mean, it's been every generation as far as I've been living, and it it's just is that is a pot stir. Oh, I'll give up the floor.
Jim and I don't remember you. Like I said, I'm 54, man. I got an old man brain. Did you get a chance to chime in on that?
No, I didn't.
Okay, I'm not that bad. I still got a little bit.
Stop taking all these drugs. The red
Hey,
pills, the
uh,
blue pills, the pink pills, the red
man,
pills.
man, I take whatever I got in the bottle. If whatever gets me through the
No,
day.
I'm talking about this internet.
Yeah,
This
I
internet.
got your joke, Gemini. That was good. That was good, girl. I like that.
Don't get quiet on this now.
No, seriously, I can't answer that. Not for the sake of this hour. I can answer that if people want to come to counseling, but I can't answer that for the sake of this hour. That's
All right. Well, let me. I'm gonna close this out on this question. I mean, on that question. It goes back to what I was saying earlier about survival. Um, and I don't know why I get so much flack when I say that. I guess it's my accent. But yeah, I think with us because we don't need each other in order to take care of our everyday day-to-day lives. And I think with us being humans, we have to lose something for us to get out of this mindset and stop the separation. I really don't want anything drastic to happen to the human race, but if we stop and think about it, in all honesty, we can continue our day-to-day activities without having to be married, without having to be in a serious relationship. I mean, you have this segment of the population when you tell them, yeah, you may be able to procreate a child not being married, but you really do need that other person in your life to work as a team with the development of the offspring, and they're quick to tell you, I'm able to do this, 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 and I ain't got no man in the house. So when you're dealing with those type of dynamics, it's kind of hard to argue that we need to be in relationships. We need to be, I know I'm gonna say the most dangerous word on the internet. We need to be married, legally married, contract, put it on paper.
that's the only way.
Yeah, because tell you the truth, I don't know what happened, but I used to just say, dang, if I could just find that woman, I can close my eyes with at night and wake up in the morning with a sunrise. and I'm still looking for it. But it has gotten so complicated that, and it isn't your stuff that's making it complicated. It's the other person, and that's both male and female dealing with it. And the thing is, oh, I mean, only thing I can say is if you're open, you're trying, at least, at least don't be so quick to take something you from somebody you just met as attack, because maybe that is maybe slowing us both sides down, because we've been so used to being accused of you just like, and maybe we're all got our walls up, our defenses waiting on, okay, 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 because it's always sounding like, well, it sounds like that. It's basically we're trying to be so defensive about everything we don't even think we can trust anybody. And I don't know how we gonna fix it, and I hope we do. But I mean, you're gonna have to have two healthy people. I mean, that's just simple fact. If neither, I mean, that's about it. You got to have two healthy people, and I don't see too many people being healthy out there.
I have to agree with that. And I don't want to do this part. All right. Where's Raining at anyway? Did she fall asleep on us? Because I really would like her to close out the shut down the hangout herself on her end. All right, we'll do it like this. All right, before we close, does anyone have any last remarks? Anybody has a channel they'd like to promote real quick for the people on the panel and in the chat?
I just like to thank Rainy Woman for the invitation. This was interesting, and Gemini, I got to be honest with you. I liked your answers because that actually was straightforward and clear, and it was actually nice to actually have someone explain some things from a woman's point of view and have some answers. So I appreciate that too. Everybody in the chat room and panel, y'all have a good night, and that's it.
Judge, come on, man, put the controller down. All right, the judge going once, going twice. Next, Gemini.
Just want to thank Rainy Woman for having me on. And the only reason I came on was to answer some questions, and I didn't want my sister out there by herself to answer these questions. So that's the only reason I came on. You will probably not see me on another panel for a very long time. But I enjoyed the conversation.
Now you know you came over here to hear my smooth voice.
You know it, Jack.
All right, let me close out my bit. I'd like to thank Rain and Woman for hosting this panel. And my last spill, I'm gonna do a cheap plug. Y'all come on over, check me out on the Spades table. Just type in the Spades table up in the box there. I've got I think like 13, 14 uploads. Check me out. I've covered what is submission, what is a successful man, 12 building blocks of success. I've got some story times. I just loaded up one called the Great American Hero. It's about my son who's now 26. Check that out. Get a chuckle at it. It's the Spades table. So come on out, check it out. Everybody enjoy your weekend. Happy Easter for those who celebrate Easter. And that's it on my end. And the way I close my uploads, be safe, be prosperous, and take care. See everyone soon. Oh, let's give a shout out to Gab Talk Media. Hold it down, baby boy. Q4. Hey, you had it ripped up there in the chat, baby. Good job. Good job. It had me chuckling. Oh, is anybody else? Anybody else? Anybody else? Anybody else? I mean, Q4, he took up the whole damn panel. Mika B, she's probably dead to the world herself. Damn, all right, Judge Dre, he had a little bit, and then Q4 took over the panel. And that is it. All right, folks, y'all take it easy. I'm about to head over to Shug's channel, stir up some nonsense over there before I go to bed. All right, folks, take it easy. Judge, wake up.
No other men will.